big up, and welcome back to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I know we had a day off yesterday. Irishman was holding it down on his channel, giving you guys what the people need, which is some good content out there. So hopefully you tuned in. If you haven't and you're not subscribed, shame on you. You should definitely go over and certainly subscribe to the Irishman's new channel. And we are fortunate to have both of Nalante and the Irishman here today with us. So how are you doing, Nalante?
All good, 12. Good evening to Brian and the chat.
Big up. And Irishman, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing well. Cheers for the plug there,
Yeah, no doubt. I know that there's a couple of games going live right now, I believe, or about to go live at least. I think doesn't Spain. The games aren't that great of games today. I don't think. For you guys might want to remind me of what I can look it up just in case. But I think it's like Spain's playing today, right? Switzerland, I want to say.
Yep.
And let's see, Portugal, Croatia's going on. Spain, Switzerland's going on, and Denmark, Serbia is going on, and and also the African Cup of Nations actually is going on too, as well. So
the qualifying, don't remind me about that.
Sorry, I know. I'm sorry about that. Nigeria versus Rwanda. I didn't know Rwanda had a decent team. They have a good team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Since I mean, not like top, but they've rebuilt since all the trouble they had. They've they're come back. They're doing well to have a country, let alone a football team. So yeah. I hope that there's a lot of nothing games. You got like Liechtenstein versus San Marino, Luxembourg versus Northern Ireland. Croatia, Portugal. If I had to watch one, would probably I'd watch that one. Croatia, Portugal. Yeah, some good players in that one. So,
well, if you are watching that, hopefully you're watching us in the background or vice versa. I know Rwanda. I asked about Rwanda because Rwanda beat Nigeria today, 2-1.
Yeah, that's a big upset.
It's a big upset, I would think. Nigeria is one of the best football nations in Africa, and to lose to Rwanda.
Yeah, Nigeria is pretty much for a long time they were kind of like the Man United, weren't they?
And it was Nigeria was playing at home too, or it was at Nigeria. It was in Nigeria, so. It's a big upset. I know that I can understand why you don't want to. I should even give the other score for today. You might want to earmuffs. Niger over Ghana 2-1 earlier today.
And it's kind of embarrassing because now that we don't qualify for the African nations, so it's usually even more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Let's be said, but just before you move on, 12, I could just see Ben Doak an assist. Scotland 1-0 up.
Yep. Ben Doak is tearing it up a little bit. He's trying to look good for Brian. I think he's trying to show and prove for Brian.
Yeah. He heard the chat. He heard our chat.
He heard the chat.
We did do we did a thing on him yesterday. I tried to get a bit of a
honest conversation
about him yesterday, but no, people were kind of like, he's doing well, but it's just because there was not a big article, but kind of Steve Clark gave an interview basically along the lines of saying, I've been trying to temper expectations and keep a lid on it a bit, but after that performance the other night, I can't stand here and go, we have to wait, he's one for the future. He said, no, look, he's going to be in the team now. He's going to start for us now. So that was really, he was kind of saying look, I've been trying to be good manager about it and say he's young lad, let's just take our time with him. but I'm not going to be an idiot and sit here now and say that now
That's
after that
awesome.
performances. So
Mhm.
he will start for Scotland. He's going to be one of their main men. So.
Yeah, he's gonna be their right
Yeah, he
wing.
is. He's in great form. Like especially for Scotland. And like you were saying, like the trick that he pulled, to do it up against, if he'd done it up against some guy nobody had ever heard of, it wouldn't have gotten so much attention. But because he does it against Man City's, 90 million
He's
pounds,
starting left back. Yeah,
yeah,
makes
it
a
made it
difference.
very headliney. Like so, yeah, no, brilliant. So,
And a player that is certainly possibly one of the better players. We're going to get into that actually today. We're going to go into there was an actual piece on ESPN FC written by Sam Tighe. He's a writer for ESPN FC and ESPN, and he wrote a piece on basically it was a piece on the Premier League. I'll give you the exact title for it. It's basically he on the 15th, it was 3 days ago, he re-ranked the MVP for the top Premier League clubs. So he had the top quote unquote or the big six as some people call them, and he basically, because let's just be honest with you, no one on United's making MVP for the Premier League. So, they're in there for this laughs and giggles. But all the same, he had a ranking of Spurs, of Chelsea, of Arsenal, United, City, and also Liverpool. And we're going to kind of go through some of the rankings, see what he reviewed or see how he ranked them, see what you would have thought in the chat. Also, obviously, get our opinions from the panel as well. And we'll also, I'm going to also include a honorary sixth spot. Since it's a big six review, I figured that we could put a sixth spot on there, like, that honorable mention if necessary. If not, then we don't have to. If no one really is warranted to get that sixth spot, then cool. But I guess since, it's not a top five, it's a big six instead of a top five or a big five. I guess it's only fitting that we give a top six for the big six. So so it should be an interesting little bit of a situation when it comes to putting some of these names together. And I'll even give you some of the premise of what the rankings were. Okay, so here's a little bit of what they did together. So they basically took a player must have played 200 Premier League minutes or more for the club. I know that's not a really big bar, but I mean, because it's only just over 20%, but still that's what they're utilizing as their bar to qualify for the list.
it is quite low.
Yeah. The vast majority of important players cleared that threshold with ease, but they wanted to ensure the rankings feel truly up to date on who is important to their teams. What they utilized was who scored, basically. It's a website I use as well as a resource. It's a good resource. It utilizes an algorithm that gives an overall number out of 10, basically, and it is for more to on the ball actions, while some are a little subjective. They're saying they put minutes played is obviously a key component of how important a player is to the manager. So that's like that's really weighed in to the rankings. But I know that again, it's going to be interesting because there's some names on here that were included, and obviously they meet that bar that we spoke on, but it's kind of one of those things where you're like, okay, he's been injured for like, 1/3 of the season or half the season. It's kind of like, for instance, I was looking at the clean sheets for this year, right? And make sure I pull up, and I just the clean sheets for this year so far. Onana leads that list. Yeah, it's 5 clean sheets, but yet, on that list. On that list is Allison Becker, obviously, is as third on that list with 3 clean sheets. And I mean, we've seen that he's missed a good bit of the season so far. So I mean, like, it's all relative and perspective as you can warrant, because it's one of those things where it's like, would I say that Ali has been the best goalkeeper this season? I can't really necessarily say that, primarily because he hasn't been available for less. You can make an argument maybe even for Kelleher more so than Ali at this very, very moment, maybe, that kind of situation. So it's going to be interesting how we get down to some of these evaluations, see how your opinions kind of like, go left or right of what is going to be shown. And I'm really interested to see, because, Milante and Brian are both very knowledgeable people when it comes to statistics, play, and just like, the history of the game and how it all ties in. So
you must be talking about somebody else, Milante. I don't know who he's on about.
No, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, bro. I think John's got his.
I think he's got his channels mixed up. Yeah. You're not on
exactly.
Copish now, mate. You're not on Copish.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so stats are involved. They looked at context of their position, and for example, they took if you took, like, for a striker, they put goals, assists, key passes, etc. Will rank higher than a teammate, but they also utilize, like, obviously you're not going to put how many goals has Virgil van Dijk scored to put him as in that rating, being relative to what his importance to the team is. So just so you keep that in mind. So with that said, let's get started here, and we'll take a look at. I have Arsenal, I have Chelsea, United, City, Tottenham, and then I have Liverpool. But I think we should probably go into. Let's go into United, since I said they'll probably be the least relevant of teams to really deal with.
So
I think go ahead.
Can I just quickly, because MVP, and don't take this wrong, I'm not like American
basketball. It's an American term. I get that.
Yeah. We're talking about, we're not talking about like the MVP on each of these teams, right? That we're not talking about that team's most valuable player. We're talking about a player from that team as a potential player of the season. Is that what we're saying? Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Okay. This
is almost like a power rankings of the players on their teams, basically.
Okay.
So those are top 5 players, and then obviously the number 1 would probably be the most likely to get at least an MVP, or I'm putting MVP, but player of the season nod, basically. Because if you see the graphic, you'll see that he utilizes the word MVP, even though I understand it's player of the season is the reference. But so let's get on with United as what they have to offer. Figure we can start with a little bit of a laugh. And this was what they had to offer for United. They had Premier League MVP, and this is again via Sam Tighe for ESPN FC. And also, let me also say real quick before I even go really into this, big up to Red for Life, big up to Daryl. Hope that you're well, Daryl. Definitely hope that you're well. Bonkers, good to see you. Red Armchair supporter, Cedric, Edward, a lot of people in the chat here. Bernie, she was here from the gate. Appreciate Bernie as always. Hi, Laura. Big up to everyone joining us. If you haven't said hello actually in the chat and you're just sitting back chilling and just listening, hello to you as well. Hope that everyone is well and good. And I just saw what Daryl wrote, and my condolences, Daryl. I know how difficult it is to have a loss for a significant other in your life, and my condolences go to you and your family. So hopefully you can feel a little bit of ease to be amongst people that do care for you and are there for you as well here, and maybe help take your mind off of some of the things going on with some lighthearted talk about football. So hopefully that is the case for you. I was going to say, okay, I got Nalante's note. So We're going to begin with the Premier League's Manchester United. This is what the list that he had for the Premier League. He had basically Bruno Fernandes. He had Bruno, Onana, Manu, Dallo, and Martinez, Lisandro Martinez, the vegan butcher, at the 5 spot for them. I saw this list and I said it's kind of like, going through a bag of like, rotten apples, or bad apples, and trying to find one of the apples to pick from, because they certainly haven't had anything to write home about this year. What are you feeling?
Well, like, is that a screenshot directly from him or ESPN?
Yeah.
Really? Because they spelled Dallo's name wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I know.
Yeah, that's pretty slack.
Yeah,
that's a bit. Yeah, I mean, it is a long shot, and I suppose you're just kind of inviting them to the party, or to the, just to to give them a rosette for showing. I don't. I mean, I just laugh. I was laughing at Diogo Dallo. Yeah, I mean, Kobe Mainoo, if he was to continue on a similar kind of trajectory that he's been on, it could be a candidate for a young player, an under 21 player of the year, maybe something like that, or young player of the year kind of thing. Maybe he's not going to get anywhere. Andre Onana, of course, if he keeps going the way he's going, he could have a Golden Gloves candidate there. But it's hilarious. Like, if he has 5 clean sheets, that means United have 5 clean sheets. And look what, it hasn't really. It shows you how utterly terrible they've been, that they can have that many clean sheets and still be where they are. So Bruno, yeah, I don't really think even, like, well, not the craziest. No, forget about that. I don't think even like the most ardent Manchester United fan could make an argument for one of those guys being in the picture with 2 or 3 months to go at the end of the season. Now, I know they usually stupidly, like, they vote for these things in January, so that's another problem. But anyway, we'll skip that.
Right.
Yeah. No, obviously not. 0. No chance. Yeah. Even with the dude coming in, even with the new guy and all that, they've got the new guy, so you could imagine an upturn in form. But even with that, I don't see it.
Thought that was interesting. I don't think Manu's had a good year this year, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a good, promising player. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's had that good of a year this year so far.
I was stretching, to be honest. I was trying to find a reach somewhere,
Yeah. And I think we've seen Martinez get, really has some really, really stinkers of games. And albeit I do not watch every United match. It's next to impossible to watch every match of every game. I do watch every highlight of every game. That I will admit. But like, how they do like the 10 or 15-minute highlight packages for the games. But I watch every highlight so I can have at least an idea of how players are, or at least an idea of like how games looked or the likes. Because not every game is like something that I'm really even interested in. Some of the games are just poor games. But I will say there are games that I do watch. And and big up to Jean Grey, by the way. Big up. If hopefully Jean Grey gets her Jamaican restaurant going again, because England is right now being definitely unlucky to not have the blessings of some of Jean Grey's cuisine, Jamaican cuisine. So hopefully it's been a hot minute for sure, and I'm glad to see you back, Jean Grey. I was also going to say that Casemiro. I would have probably put Casemiro, despite I know he's had some hollers and the likes here and there. I might have put Casemiro on this list as well, despite the fact that he, obviously he got cooked in the game against us, but he's been okay. And another name I would have probably put is the defender they got from Morocco.
Mazraoui.
Yeah. Yep. Do you not think he might deserve to be in this list too? Maybe.
As from a list of their guys, yeah, like I'm like you. I don't watch anything to do with them unless unless they're playing us. Just type in there. Oh yeah. And the other lad, who did they sign? Xerxes. He hasn't done much. Mazraoui.
No, he hasn't done much. He's had little bits in here and there, but he hasn't really done as much.
Hoyland hasn't done anything really, has he? Rashford hasn't done much.
Nope. Ericsson hasn't done much. De Ligt hasn't done much. I wouldn't. I mean, I know. I just saw Dara put Ericsson. I don't know if does Ericsson really get into this list? I don't know. It's kind of sad because it's the Manchester United's top 5 shows the place and spot that they're in. I know. Shout out to Flawless and Sarcasm City TV and Beijing Reds. They do this little collab together. And I asked them a question, or they were talking about the players that they have, and he was very optimistic about the coach that he's bringing in that's going to make a difference for United. And I'm going he's talking about how the players are really good and this and that. And I'm like, well, someone rated these players at one time at one point because you spent a lot of money and there's a lot of big quote unquote names on that. So, yeah, and that's Red Armchair Supporter. That's exactly where I was getting at. I'll bring up his quote or his statement for you. It says, if that's their top 5 players, no wonder they're in 13th place. That's pretty telling. Yep, Garnacho is a player that has a future, possibly. I don't know if it was with Manchester United, but I mean, possibly.
Yeah, they've more chance of getting a young player into an award or something, I think. But I wouldn't take any of them right now at Liverpool. I'd probably I would take Kobe Mainoo as a young prospect, but I wouldn't be, and I'd take Onana as a goalkeeper, so as a backup goalkeeper. So I think he went to the wrong club. I watched, he was incredible at Inter. He is very good. It's just he went to the wrong club and he made a few howlers because he does play some crazy things or does some crazy things sometimes. But I think he's an amazing goalkeeper. So I would take him as much as people laugh at him. But I wouldn't go near Bruno. I wouldn't go near Dallo. I wouldn't go near Martinez. I wouldn't go near Mazraoui. I wouldn't go near Xerxes. I wouldn't go near Hoyland. I wouldn't go near Anthony. I wouldn't go near Rashford. Okay. All their big players. I wouldn't take any of them. I take a couple of their young players that they haven't ruined yet. They haven't ruined Mainoo yet. So I take him, But any of those other guys on huge wages, those washed up kind of, what would the kids call them? Dusty ballers, Casemiro, Ericsson, the likes of these guys. I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. Rashford, man. Rashford can go 6 months without looking like a footballer. Don't forget not scoring a goal. I mean, he can go 6 months without looking like a footballer. And then you've got Hoyland, who's done nothing. Anthony has done nothing. They're a mess. Xerxes and Mazraoui, are they Man United level? They're Aston Villa level, dude. To get to the Premier League. Wow. It's funny to watch. It must have been what it was like for Man United teams watching us, our fans watching us in the 90s when we're just randomly going out and buying these shit players all over the place. Just looking at us going, what are they doing now? Every week they come out and do something. This is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I figured we'd have a little bit of a laugh. I don't even, again, with that kind of lineup or that list right there, I wouldn't have given them 5 spots. I would have given them maybe 3. So they would have been maybe their top 3 rather than even. We're not even going to get put into the mix a top 6 or a honorary mention because it is what it is. Manchester United. I don't know exactly what they've got planned. I was thinking of maybe even doing a piece on that. I know it's not on our team, but it was just simply on the fact that they are a team that's going to really be interesting to see how they make that transition. It's kind of very similar to when we were going for our new head coach, and I remember Amarin was a choice or a possible candidate to be the choice for our team. And considering the formation and structure that he brings with this team, it would have been a very, very drastic overhaul or change to our team, especially with the components that we have in our team. So it's going to be interesting to see how United bridge that transition and getting the right players and getting any players that are going to want to be a part of the project that is this new project. They're going to be going forward with. But hey, that is what it is. So again, with this list, I personally wouldn't have. I can have Bruno, I don't want to have Bruno there, but I can concede having Bruno as their best choice. I could possibly concede Onana being their second best choice. Again, personally, I would have had a little bit different 3 through 5 on here. I probably would have had. I have my list written down, actually. I probably would have Nasser, and I would have Diego, and then I would have had Casemiro at the 3, and then probably the other 2 that I just mentioned in that order. But I'm going in somewhat order of where they are in the league. So from 13th. Okay. 13th place in the league. That's so crazy to say right there.
Yeah.
All the way up to, at least we can scroll up to we don't have to be on the second page. We can scroll up to the first
No,
page.
we're out of the cheap seats. We're out of the cheap seats and we're into the fancy ones with the plush, all of that. Lots of room in them.
At least he's got to show a ticket here. You got to show tickets. You got to show the other one. They're just like, just find some place on the lawn. You can just park it there.
If you can climb up the back, you can get in. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. The next one on the list of the big 6 that they had in 10th place currently in the league are Spurs. Spurs. Oh, Hotspur. It's difficult to talk about this club because they're such a weird club. And what I mean by weird is all due respect, but I just mean weird in that you can go to City and beat City, right? But then you can host the Tractor Boys and then lose. And I don't mean like lose. I mean like lose. Pretty assuredly lose. You can play well against, you could beat Manchester United and look like you totally just like control every last part of the game, and then go and do what you do. It's a very Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type club. I just don't understand sometimes how and what they have going on for themselves. But the list they had here was Van de Ven at the top spot, Kulusevski at the second spot, Romero at the third spot, Solanke at the fourth spot, and Son at the fifth spot. Kind of interesting because obviously what's good to see is that they didn't go by name, recognition alone, because obviously, I think Son is probably their best player. I would have probably put him as their number 1, if not number 2 on this list, but I guess it might be, I don't know how many minutes James Maddison has played for them this year, but I probably would have had James Maddison on this list, maybe. How about this list? Does this seem accurate to you as being a top 5? And again, the concept behind this is kind of like their power rankings, I guess is the easiest way to put it, of players on their team. This is like who they see as being the best player and down. Again, not a great list. Order. You're right.
Yeah.
Big ups, by the way, and Dara. Hello to you both.
I'm sure I mean, there's a lot of the people in our chat that they know what they're at. They'll know. They'll be aware of at least the who scored ratings, and they're using, like you said at the start, they're using who scored.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking at their team of the season so far, like the team of the season so far, using their rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And the only two Tottenham players, obviously not everyone get 5 or 6 in, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
only two Tottenham players that are in it are Son and Romero. So, like you, I would have had Son much higher on this.
Right.
Ahead of Mickey van de Ven. Like Romero would be ahead of Mickey van de Ven. But the thing is, what you have to bear into account with who score ratings is if you're a defender and you score a goal, or even over the course of like 8 or 10 games, if you scored 2 goals,
Oh yeah.
your rankings shoot up. They
Yeah.
go up really, really high. So
Yeah.
Romero gets involved attacking wise, but I love Romero. I think he's great. But I think that's pretty much a strong list. I think at the beginning of the season, Brennan Johnson was absolutely brilliant for them. I think in the absence of a couple of players, he stepped up. He scored in something like 3 or 4 consecutive games. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but he scored 3 out of 5. He scored, but he went on a serious little run there at the start of the season. So if we were going back a bit, he would probably be in that. But I know I've heard, again, I don't watch them. We'd have to ask Max, but I've been told that Kulusevski has been excellent since they moved him into the center. So I've heard that. I know that much anyway. Obviously, Solanke is doing his thing, but I don't think his numbers are amazing. So I wouldn't have Mickey van de Ven on the list, even though brilliant player. The goalkeeper is unlucky not to be in there. So I'd probably drop Mickey van de Ven. I'd give Brennan Johnson a place on the list to get in. And the other two, Solanke, I'm not sure. You'd probably have to ask a Spurs fan, but I'll trust their judgment and say Solanke's been up there. But I would go, yeah, all of them apart from Mickey van de Ven, and put Brennan Johnson in.
Okay. I see. Yeah, Jean Gray was asking about Brennan Johnson. Big up. United Nations are brothers. Yes, that's what we are. Brothers and sisters, definitely. Brothers and sisters, definitely. Big up to the streets in the house. Great Bonkers' son is their best player. That's what Red Armchair supporters saying, and he is going with Bonkers saying that for Spurs, Bonkers has its son, Kulu, Van der Ven. He's talking about Dejan. Van der Ven, Madison, and then Romero. But what was really also interesting is, who didn't get a shout, and that's what I thought is like an interesting, player that didn't get on this list was Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro's gotten a lot.
Pedro Porro.
Yeah, there you go.
Spanish.
Yeah.
I didn't get the R right. I didn't get the roll right.
You didn't get the roll. Yeah, I can't remember.
It's in your
I can do it, but I can't do it off. I need to do it once, and then I can do it. If you know what I mean.
Yes, that will be. Yeah, I'll get into that, Hyler, after this. I'll get into your comments about Bentacure and the likes. But Richarlison did not make the list. He did not make the list. I know that Udogie has been injured a little bit throughout this season, but I think he probably qualified. Again, it wasn't a high bar to hit with the 200 minutes played. So, that's basically saying you played not even basically like 2.5 games, basically, not even.
Looked a fine prospect last year. I had him in my fantasy team a lot. He looked a good prospect, but yeah, young player injured now. So who do they play at left back?
Who knows what
Cesc?
who knows what is his destiny?
Ben Davies.
Who knows what
very
is
good.
Udogie's destiny? Who knows? So,
very good.
There you go. Who knows? I would, Solanke's a shout. Solanke's definitely picked up form lately. I think they maybe have this. He might have this in this order possibly in reverse, maybe. So I probably would have put Son, Solanke. I would have put Madison in this list. I would have definitely. I would have, unfortunately, I don't really like Pedro Porro, but I would have put Pedro Porro in this list to be objective.
And actually, sorry, do you know who I remember? I missed out. I think Madison has actually been injured a lot, man. I think that is the issue there. Another guy who has apparently been brilliant for them is Malang Sarr, who plays in a kind of box to box DM type role. Center mid type role. Apparently, he's been excellent. So he didn't get a shout there. But I don't think he probably ranks high statistically to get into a who scored rating. I think that might be the issue with him. But he's been excellent according to the people who talk about Spurs kind of thing.
Yeah, shout out to Jacob and I'm gonna go blank on her name. She's a nice woman too. She's I think it's a Girl Loves Sport. Girl Loves Spurs, I think is the name of her channel. But yeah, and Hotspur Hippie. I like Hotspur Hippie. He's pretty cool. He's an Australian, or he lives in Australia, I believe now. Yeah, he's pretty. He does shows with Jacob. He's pretty cool. But all right. Well, are you cool with this list? Is there anyone that you think got like the short end on this one, Alante?
I mean, right now, I think we need Max with his Spurs knowledge. I think we need Max to put us to shame because
possibly maybe Max will join us later. Or I don't know, or maybe he's in this chilling.
Yeah, maybe he's probably watching one of the games. Max is very knowledgeable in that. But I mean, I wouldn't make you fan the Fen. I think, to be honest, I think Spurs, for what I've seen of them, Spurs' best player has been Kulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll put Kulu as the best player. Yeah, so the others have been more hit and miss. They've been with what Spurs have been hit and miss. One good game here and there, and then Johnson. I would say he will sneak into the top 5 because he did that the run consistently of goals and playing well. I would sneak him to the top 5. Romero for me hasn't been that great for Tottenham, to be honest. He's for instance, he's been better for country than club, if I'm honest. It's kind of Kulu for me be the number 1 player for me.
Okay, all right. That's legit. I don't know if we need to put the honorary mention on this one because again, I think it's been.
We mentioned them all already, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about that one. So
I don't think we left anybody. I think we pretty much mentioned every Spurs player.
Yeah.
That did something.
That's done something worth noting.
Yeah,
most likely.
Even Ricky got a mention.
Yeah, definitely. Well, then that brings us to the top 4. This is the top 4 clubs currently in the English Premier League, and we start with the possibly the favorites. Apparently, that's what some people were calling them.
Arsenal! Great, can't wait for Arsenal.
Yeah. What do we say if we don't agree? Oh, if you don't agree with our assessments, include them. Put in your statements. Put in. If you don't agree with what we have to say, definitely put your comments in. And if you don't agree with Sam Tighe from ESPN FC's rankings here, definitely put in your own. I mean, this is you're open and more than invited to put your top to 5, 1 to 5 rankings. And if you want to throw in a 6 as an honorary mention, you're more than welcome to do that too. because I see that Bonkers just gave Arsenal. So let's move on to Arsenal, people. Let's move on to the Gunners. Okay. This was the Gunners' top 5 so far this season. I mentioned it earlier in the beginning, in the lead-in, and this is why I had a little bit of an issue with his list. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Martin Odegaard is possibly the best player, if not the most, one of the most essential players on this team for Arsenal. We've seen the fact that without him in the lineup, they've certainly wavered a little bit in their consistency, and we've seen them take a little bit of a stumble in their assurances of getting through some of the matches that they were getting through earlier in the year. But I don't know if Odegaard is still a top spot player.
No, he's not.
You can make an argument for Saka, who has been he's been playing really, really well for them. Really, really well. I would have even probably put Gabriel above Saliba. I think Gabriel is having a better year possibly than Saliba this year, to be honest with you. And then you have Declan Rice. I don't know if that, I might sound controversial, but I don't even know if Declan got on my list. He might be that 6th spot. Let me see what I put on my list here. Yeah, Declan didn't get in my top 5, actually. So what about this list? No, I know. Red Orange supporter. We already know who Brian's going to bring in.
Indeed. And Cedric, big up yourself, Cedric. Abdul, big up. Gene Gray, long time no hear from you, Gene. Abdul, all the rest of you. Some of the names I ain't seen for a while. And Dara yourself, man. Big up all of you.
Yeah. Let's begin with.
No, you've misspelled that, Bernie. You've misspelled that. It's not. It should be an H instead of the R. I know, autocorrect. I know. No, it should be an H instead of the R there.
Okay. Okay. Let's start reviewing Alante on this list. What are your feelings on this on the rankings here? Do you think that he got it right? Do you think he got it blatantly wrong or tragically?
Yes, I mean, for someone you meant to be a journalist, you got it badly wrong. Odegaard shouldn't be number 1. He's been injured, first of all, and even the games that he played, he wasn't nothing great. Saka is definitely number 1. As like similar to Bonkers, and I think mine won't be similar to Bonkers. I think Partey will be in the top 5 for me. I think Gabriel and Saliba haven't been as good as they were last season, but I think I would say Gabriel ahead of Saliba, and Partey has to be in that top 5 for me. He's been quite good for them this season, and even at right back when he done the job on Diaz. So
Okay.
yeah. He's
well, then where if you had to re-rank this, what would be your re-rankings?
Saka 1, Gabriel 2, Partey 3. Oh yeah, Odegaard 4 and 5. You know what? I'll put Timber ahead of Saliba.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Timber has been very influential and been a big part of Arteta's plans this year. I'll definitely give you that. Big up Pops, by the way. Big up Pops. Good to see
big up Pops. Yeah, big up Pops. Original Don Dada.
Yes, the original Don Dada. Super Cat in the house. What would have been your tactical breakdown of this one, Brian? Your diagnosis.
I'm
Since
still
we have
getting
a doctor in the house, I figure I'd ask the Irish doctor as well.
Yeah, well, I'm still reeling from this schooling I got from the doctor last night, so I'm choosing my words. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
Brian.
choosing my
Honestly,
words. I'm choosing my words
careful, Brian.
carefully.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Best behaviors. Yeah. Saka clearly. I think I get what he's doing now more with this list. Um, in terms of like he's ranking them as they're just their value to the team. Really, I think he's thrown like injuries and all of that and window or minutes out the window, but he has a minimum he has to reach. So it looks like to me that's just his list of the most important players to Arsenal the way he's ranked it. So I would, you see, the thing is, do you put the cart before the horse? You know, you look at someone like Saka. Saka has been excellent this season, and not just in terms. He had an assist in each of his first 5 games. I think he missed a game, then came back and got 2 more assists, then got a goal against us. So he's been excellent, and his defensive numbers, he's ahead of Mo Salah in that who scored team this season so far. Like F365 put it together. They took the top scoring players and they made the 11 out of it. And Saka gets ahead of Salah, and it's because of his defensive numbers. So that's why the algorithm goes in his favor. But it's the to me it's I've heard Arsenal fans say that Odegaard is more important than Saka because you could take Saka out of the team and you'd still have Odegaard creating. So you know the way Arsenal fans are very contrary like that. One of them will say
Yeah.
Saka, the other say Odegaard. It's hard to know. To me, I would love both of those guys in my team. But if I could only take one of them, I'd probably go with Bukayo Saka, but with a heavy heart to leave Odegaard sitting on the shelf. So I don't like Rice in it. Yeah, I'll put Havertz in instead of Rice, and I'll give Trossard an honourable mention. I don't think the defenders have been that good this season, apart from their defense, the whole being good at set pieces thing. Um, so who else could you put in from the Arsenal side? Martinelli, Martinelli over Gabriel, maybe. I don't know. But it's a pretty solid list. And for me, I think Saka is actually some guy, or is a guy that could actually be up there, you know, on the podium at the end of the season if he keeps going the way he's going. So yeah, I think that's a solid list. I'm okay.
What would be the if you're going from top to bottom?
I'd
What would
flip Saka and Odegaard. I'd flip Saka to top. I'd
Pause.
I drop Odegaard down a few just because of his minutes.
I got you.
Gabriel, maybe I drop Declan out. Partey's done nothing. Yeah, I don't want to be getting petty at the end, so I bring in Havertz for Declan and leave it, but put Bukayo in number 1 and Odegaard number 3. So leave it number 2. And they spelled Gabriel's name wrong as well. Like they spelled Diego Dallo's name wrong. So these guys are
I
massively
know. This was like apparently a hurried list because they threw an extra P in there for Gabriel.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that'd be me. That's the way I do it. But
okay. Let's see what I know. Bonkers had a listing. I'll include his list. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, because I saw Bonkers did. Again, if you guys got lists that you want to do, or like if you want to make a little bit of a changes to what you're seeing, then let's definitely see what you got. That was his for Spurs. Number 1. I know I saw he had one for them. For him. Oh yeah, right. He had Saka, Gabriel, Odegaard, Rice, and Partey. Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest with you, that for all the acclaim that I hear about him, all the hoopla and the likes, I'm surprised that Raya didn't get in this list actually.
Oh, I think they've been shipped goals, so haven't they? They haven't been watertight like they were.
No, But to be fair, I think 12's right. I think when they getting these wins or 1-0s, I think 2 games in a row, he made some really good saves. Rare, to be fair, he made some really top quality saves.
I want to say he had a penalty save on one of them too, or something like that. I think he saved.
Oh, that was the the Champions League game against Atalanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That could be a shout. 12. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Top 5.
And who else maybe? And then also like the fact that they've been hyping up Calafiori. I mean, like I remember when we were going up against Arsenal and I'm seeing all these.
He got a bad one though, didn't he?
I'm just saying that I saw all these combined 11s. You know, Grizz is out there putting combined 11s and trying to fight for Timber instead of fighting for Robbo and putting in giving it to who else did he put in there? Calafiori has a shout too to get in there. It's just interesting that none of those people got on this list. Maybe even Mikel Merino. Their new acquisition doesn't get on this list. I'm just throwing out names.
No.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Not even Ben White. I think Ben White's been. I've been told that Ben White is the better right back, the best right back in the league. Apparently, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, but just on Merino, I know I always say one of my best mates is an Arsenal fan, but it's not him. It's another guy I know, and he's not on YouTube or anything, but he's like really critical of Arsenal. Like he loves the club, but he's always like. Not Milan, not crazy, but he's a critical guy. You know, he doesn't take any shit.
That's why I'm bringing up these names. I'm not saying.
But he's saying Marino. No, but I'm just saying quickly on Marino. He was saying like a lot of talk about this guy. You know, a lot of this and that. He came in. He said pretty much 1 or 2 things at the start and decent. You know, looks good in Euros, whatever. He said the guy's just bang average. He said, this guy's banging. He said, I'm watching for 10 games. The guy's just now, like I say, he's very critical. Mm-hmm. But it's like, what do we? Yeah, look, we bought a guy who there's 10 other players out there that could do what this guy is doing.
How much did they spend for him?
Like 40, I think. Something like that.
Wow.
35, 40. I don't know. You know, yeah, the guy was at Newcastle, for a short time, goes away, does well, rebuilds his career, but they're not very impressed. Not very impressed. Some of them.
26.7 million.
Oh, I was cheap enough as well.
26.7 million. I'm not trolling, by the way. I'm not trolling.
I think Arteta bought him because he just looks like him. I think that's what he did. He looks like him.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm not. I'm just putting it out there that I know. I saw this list. I mean, you know, Marino had a big goal against us. You know, like, I'm just asking questions basically because I know that these players were deemed as to be, you know, players that are the same level, if not better, than our current players. I was told. At least that's what I've been told. So at least from my angle of it, I'm hearing that. I'm wondering, okay, well then, where are they on this list? It's kind of interesting.
Well, that is Tighe's list. In fairness, it's
Tighe. It's Sam Tighe.
Yeah, I call him Tighe though.
Tighe. Okay.
Do we know? Yeah. Do we know who he supports? Just as a matter of interest. Just is he? You know.
I could find that out for you. I'm gonna see if I can find that out for you. I do not know who he supports.
He sounds like a Tottenham fan. Sounds like a Tottenham
fan. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
Or is he going to be one of those BGMOL guys who says he supports Preston North End or something?
Right. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can find out who he supports.
It'll be on his Twitter bio. Best way to find out will be on his Twitter bio.
Oh, on his Twitter bio. Okay. I'll look on that. I'll look.
When they kind of list their interests and shit. If he's going to say it, he'll say it there.
Okay. But I'll get it for you. Before after I do, or before I do, let's move on to, excuse me again. Let's move on to who is in third place, a team that not many people, I think, really necessarily had being this high. I don't think not many people really had them being this high on the list. But let's just see how you feel about Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea accents there. Hold on to it, bro. See you, mate. You're fitting in Stamford Bridge.
Well, which is a quick segue before you move on, which is a quick segue to my show tomorrow, when I'll be talking about how some Liverpool fans are capable of fitting in at other grounds. So yeah, make sure you look out for that show tomorrow.
By the way, he's a Southampton supporter.
Yeah, right, Matt, or whatever your name is, Sam. Of course you are, mate. Of course you are.
Yeah, he has it on. That's what he has on his. That's what he has on his Twitter page.
Well, yeah, cool. Oh well. Can't accuse him of any big club bias. So.
Yeah, you really can on that one. Works with Sky Sports, works with ESPN. Who scored 90 minutes and a couple others. The freelance reporter on football, and this was his pick for Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, I will honestly say it's an easy number one pick for them. Cole Palmer, I think, has been exceptional this year. Excuse me, it's very, very dry here. Caicedo has had a very, very good run this year. I think he's definitely made a much better approach to this year than he had last year. I still think that he's a little bit reckless with some of his tackles, and he can be a little bit of
Moises. You talking about Moises, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think he could be a little bit reckless with some of his tackles, but there could be maybe an argument to see Lavia in this before maybe Colwell. Maybe Lavia's been playing pretty well. I know that Lavia's made a difference in the team. There could also maybe be the guy who might be going back to United. Jadon Sancho has had a little bit of a resurgence this year in his career. Maybe Pedro Neto. I'm just throwing out names out there just to see how you guys feel about them. So if you have a different list, do tell me. Do tell. I see Bonkers gave his list. Bonkers is playing along with the game. I appreciate that, Bonkers. He has it as Caicedo, Net. He put Neto. Okay. Palmer. That's interesting. Palmer at the 3rd spot. Jackson at the 4th spot. And Gusto at the 5 spot. Interesting rearrangement of it.
I think they've got it right. They've got the top 2 correct anyway, because Palmer and Caicedo are in the current team of the season that I've been referencing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely the best 2. Jackson very much improved. Then you'd have to ask, not that I'd want to, but a Chelsea fan about Colwell, Madueke, and all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't argue too much into this, because I was expecting Nkunku to have a big season, and hasn't happened for him yet. So if they want to put in Nani Madueke, but Caicedo has been brilliant this year. You can't deny it. But Cole Palmer also slowed down a tiny bit, and that's to be expected, because he did kind of come out, pretty much all guns blazing. So yeah, I'm not gonna crib at that list too much. because I've forgotten about. There's so many other players that I've forgotten about some of them. But yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I'd leave that list alone probably. Yeah,
Okay.
wouldn't mess with it too much. Yeah.
Okay. Is that let me see. Latte is Monty, are you with us by any chance? I know Monty, I see one. Okay, you're good. How do you feel about this list?
Sam's done his job due diligence for once. This is nearly right. What I would say is Palmer. It's funny how I know he's a good. I know Brian rates him. He's a quality player, but funny in this season against the big boys, he's been ice cold, nowhere to be seen. He's been putting the freezer.
Tiny bit, yeah, a tiny bit.
Yes, yeah, he has. Yeah, he's been a bit.
Doesn't have a good record against the big.
This is it. Yeah. So patience, but yeah, one to three is fine. I'm happy with that's fine. Just the fourth. I mean, again, McAway. Yeah, I guess you could put him in the five because he's had some good games in and out. The fourth, I wouldn't say Coldwell. If you're gonna put defender, it'll be Marco Cucurella.
Yeah,
Okay. He's been pretty decent, pretty solid for them. So by him and Lavia, but yeah, Cucurella, I'll say. And Lavia obviously is a mention, as you guys mentioned just previously anyway. And just before the next, sorry, Daryl, so I just saw your message about your nan, so my condolences and, out to you and the family. All right.
Yeah, from everyone. From
everyone, all of
all
us here on 12 in the chat. Yeah. Condolences, my guy.
Also, I just want to, I know Pop said that deal, he's saying that deal is done. Sancho isn't going back to United loan with an obligation to buy. That's
I didn't know there was an obligation
that is
in that.
Partially.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I did. I know Pops and was talking. I think Pops and them brought that up in their show yesterday. I think Flawless obviously would have some idea of a lot of the specifics about the deal, but I do know that one of the specifics that I don't think they said in the show, I didn't hear Flawless say it, and to go against what Pops is saying is only that Chelsea have to finish above. They have to be better than. They have to be 13th or better, or 14th and better, or something like that. So if they have another season like they did last year, then the deal falls apart. They hold an obligation to buy if finishing 14th or higher in the final league standings.
Oh, okay. Well, they pretty much nailed that at this stage. So
they look like they're going to be able to get over that hurdle. But
that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's a really, really interesting one. Because I just thought it was a loan, and I would have guessed there was an option in it. But I've never heard of a. Pops is right. They'll finish well above 14th.
They should.
But I've never heard of one like that.
Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed.
It would be spectacular if they were to drop from where they are to 15. Now, I'd like to see that. We'd all love to see that.
Yeah, about to say, why are we not trying to put that into the universe?
Well, no, I'm not trying to put X. Yeah, but we can put it out. But like somebody said, who did they just mention there? João Felix was basically they bought him so they could make a pure profit on Noel Gallagher going to Madrid or whatever his name is. The pirate version of the Gallagher brothers. So they've got 100. Well, it's overpriced. It's been over reported. He wasn't 100 million. But call him 80 million at least. Mudryk sitting on the bench. And they're playing Neto, because there was a couple of shouts there from people for Neto to be on this list. Now, I haven't seen enough of him. I know he's brilliant. I don't need to be told that. I know Neto's brilliant. I've seen that. But I haven't seen him playing for Chelsea, really. But there was a couple of shouts from him saying he's been really good. But I think he's only just recently broken into that team. I don't think he was in it from the start of the season.
That's right, Brian.
Yeah,
you're right. That's it.
But you've got Mudryk, you've got probably three other guys that I've forgotten about that cost them between 40 and 70 million sitting on their bench every week.
I'm sure. Are you still there?
Oh, me, yeah. Sorry, I was just finished talking. Sorry. I was just
Okay. All right. I didn't know if I froze or something there. That was
No.
Yeah. Okay. I clicked a button and then all of a sudden this went silent. I didn't know if I froze up or something.
I should finish with more emphasis or
something. No, yeah, I didn't know if it was like something about my. I was trying to pull up a statistic to go along with what you're saying. Yeah, Cole Palmer. He's been cold at times, and he's also been balled out at others. So it's an interesting one for him. All right, so Madueke. I don't know if Madueke would make my list, to be honest with you, by the way, too. But that's what it is. Let's see.
Bonkers, you're fast. Bonkers has already moved on to the next.
I know. Bonkers is one ahead of us always. So, Reece James, if he's ever fit, that's the big question mark. That's a super big question mark for that one.
I just remembered honorable mention to you, Gusto. Gusto, he's played. I forgot about him. Yeah, he's played quite all right for them.
He put Gusto on his list too. Interesting. I would have also said, he's not in the City. I was trying to see real quick one quick thing about them. Let's see. I don't know if I have it on here. So, let's see. I have it here. Nope. I was trying to see like how they did last year, actually, comparatively speaking. But let's move on to the number 2 spot. And the number 2 spot is currently held by a team that is going through a little bit of a tough spell for them, and I'm hoping that it continues. And that is, you said Gusto is probably your honorable mention in this list, right? Is there any honorable mention you wanted to throw in there, Brian, before we bounce from Chelsea? Is there anyone in this list that you think should?
No, I'll stick with Neto. I'll stick with Neto because he was getting something. Yeah.
Okay. Next on this list would be for City. This is the list that he has for City. And it's interesting because he says, no Rodri due to injury. So again, it's an interesting one. He probably he's putting there because I guess he knows Rodri's going to be out for the majority of the year, if not the entire year. I know there's been reports that Rodri is targeting a return for this year.
It says it there. It says Man City's top 5 in brackets, no Rodri due to injury. Mm-hmm. If you look just above his top 5, he's actually written in there. Mm-hmm. So he's caveating himself straight away. So
Phil Foden.
Put Phil Foden in the number 2 spot.
Because that is wild. But anyway, go for it, Tom.
Phil Foden, more like.
That is wild. Top 5. What has he been watching? Has he actually watched City's games?
Maybe he's just
probably
not watching the Southampton games, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he's too busy watching the same.
Foden. Anyway, go for it, Tom.
Yeah, you could possibly maybe we'll get the pleasure of asking him personally. I mean, when this weekend on Sunday, maybe you'll hear from him. But Bonkers has it. Holland, Vardiol, Ederson. That's interesting. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that. Sylvia, and Foden as his 5th.
Oh, does he mean Savinho?
I think that he might be that. I'm not sure.
Oh, Bernardo Silva, unless he.
I thought you meant.
Oh no! I thought you said.
It was. I don't know. I mean, it might be. He might have messed.
No, he meant Silva.
I think it's been decent this year for them. Been okay for them this year. Not the greatest, obviously. Not getting the greatest up. But how's this list looking for you, Brian? We'll start with you this time. How's this list looking towards you towards your opinions. And again, in the chat, if you want to play along, just like Bonkers did, just put in your list, and we'll include that in it all. Or if there's just you agree with the list and there's someone in particular, as you say, no, he's out, replace him with this person, you could just do it that way too.
Well, yeah. The first thing I want to, can I pick 115 players, or do I have to pick 5?
Yeah, I think 130. I think 130.
Feel that, bro. Hey, bro.
Hey, try the veal. Yeah, who cares really? Yeah, Haaland, okay. Foden, probably shit. Vardiol, definitely good. Somebody, why like Kovacic? Nah. Oh, Christ, do I have to? They're all frauds and it's all fake. So next.
Yeah. I mean, how many minutes has, I know you have the site up. How many minutes has KDB played this year?
I don't have that. What I have is basically what F365 did was they made a top 10. They made a 4-2-3-1 from the current highest scoring players in the league. So I don't have who scored open, but I don't think. Yeah, see, that's why when you put up the thing, I was like, the first thing I thought was like, why is KDB in the thumbnail? You know, because he's pretty much. I mean, has he? I know he has played, but he hasn't played anywhere near enough football to be in a list like, you know, current and, you know, power ranking. There's nowhere near, no chance. The guy Mateus Nunes, who I was always laughing about, you know, sitting around the bench, you know, kind of, what more can I do? Twerking in front of Pep trying to get a game, and you know, eventually he does get a game, but he's playing him on the bloody left wing. Mateus Nunes, the DM that he bought from Wolves. Pep is playing him on the left wing. And guess what he does? He gets 3 assists in 3 games.
Yeah. Well, it says a lot too about what I still think that Jack needs to figure out a way to get back to AVL.
To Villa. Well, it's only about, it's down the M62, I think, if I'm not wrong, Nalante, isn't it? It's only about half an hour down the road, and he'd be back in Birmingham in half an hour, man.
Yeah,
that's what he needs to do. I think they take him back. So I don't. Yeah, I just it's fucking City, man. You know what I mean? Give him their Erling Haaland, give him some trophy, and just tell him to go away.
Okay.
It's Monday. What do you want me to do? It's Monday. What do you want me to do, man? It's Monday. Come on, I'm going to praise these guys for anything.
Okay. Let's see if I want to put anything. City aren't the same side without Rodri, like us when the center backs got injured. It says Edward. Red Armchair Supporter says Bernardo Silva. Foden hasn't had a good season so far. He has not. I agree with that. I would go as far as to say Savinho has had a better season this year than possibly Foden has. And he's not in this list. I'd also maybe go. I probably would have Vardiol at the 2 spot.
Doku, did he get a? Obviously,
nope.
No. Anybody shout for Doku? No,
I don't think anyone's giving a shout for Doku. No. Kovacic, I can understand. I know that you rate his play as being a good player, at least. I had KDB on the thumbnail because I thought I think KDB has had, when he's played half decent. He's had some good, you know, like if you go by the who scored stuff, he's had some good rankings in his play. Now, I don't know if he's got, again, I had to look to see if he qualifies for the 200 minutes, 200-minute bar that they're talking about, but I think he's played in more than
He has. He's got 374.
Okay. So yeah,
he has 4 appearances, 1 as a sub, 374, 1 goal, 1 assist, with a who scored average rating of 7.4.
It's pretty high. That's pretty high.
His total appearances is 16. His total minutes is 998. 5 goals, 1 assist. Average rating 7.2. So that's this season.
I think this is. I'm not positive. I'd have to look at his contract, but I think this is the last year for KDB on his contract, right?
Yep, last one.
He's
going to have contract next summer.
Next summer's his last year. Okay.
Yeah, this summer. Oh, sorry, this next summer. Yeah, end of the season.
End of the season.
Yeah, end of the season.
Yeah, I'll double check for us. Yeah, double check. I know a lot of people are out there wanting to have a midfielder. I know there's been some midfielders that have been mentioned. Would you take KDB on a free?
No. Too
No.
old. Too many injuries now at this stage. Sorry, not being a dick, but at this stage the wear and tear is. We saw him. He broke down in the Champions League final, or in the Champions League semi-final. Had to be taken off. Broke down in the final. Had to be taken off. He's come back this year off the back of injury. Comes back. He's been out injured again already. I just think at the age he's at, with the wage that he would probably want, I think it'd be crazy. Yeah, like I said, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League. I don't know if he had an offer on the table from some Saudi club for 600, 700, 800 grand a week. I just no, his injuries now at this stage I think are just too much. Also, John Henry wouldn't even. No way.
I'm not saying. I mean, let's say hypothetically he says, he's a Liverpool fan since he's growing up. He said, this is his last year, or he comes into the summer and he goes, you know what? I would love to be able to play for my boyhood club that I love.
I'd give him a 1-year deal.
He says, I'll take a 1-year deal. I'll take a haircut. I've made money. I don't need to make £400,000 a week.
100.
Yeah, I'll take 200,000 or something. I'll take half of that.
100K plus bonuses. Good, put on a good bonus. 100K a week and good bonuses.
Cool.
I give him a 1-year deal, but I'm not doing any more than that.
This is Kevin De Bruyne's last year, by the way, on his contract. At least.
Well, not much to talk about that at all.
Yeah, no. 40,000 currently. His contract was signed in 2021. It ends in June 30th, 2025.
Yeah.
So this is his last year. He is 33 years old.
Yeah.
So. And he'll be 34 next summer. Before the season starts next summer, he'll be 34, obviously. Yeah. But he's born in June. So
he is. Oh, they have birth dates in here. Let's see if he has birth date.
28th of June.
Yeah. I don't have a birth date, but 28th of June. Okay. So, no, and Bernie, I'm with you. I say yes.
On a 1-year deal, I'd take him, but not on more than that.
Yeah, I'm not looking for a 2-3-year deal or something like that. But this is the same, just to come, just to
As a Gary Mack, like I've said it before on this channel, I don't see the problem with going for an older player, but that is stretching a little bit just because of his injuries. But you said you were going to get 22 games out of him in the league.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he could come on and do it without a doubt. Yeah,
without games that were there. Mm.
Yeah, I if necessary, just save him for the Manchester. You can save him for just the Manchester City games, and you can.
Well, he is. No, we're not just joking. He is a Liverpool fan, right?
What's that?
He is a Liverpool fan, right? That's not.
Yeah, he's a big Liverpool.
Yeah.
fan.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Give me a year. Let him come and live his dream out.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be kind of. I would think that'd be pretty cool, actually.
Build him a statue.
Yeah. On a
It'd probably
free,
piss off the
Curry says
Manx as
no
well,
brainer.
actually. Yeah, no, actually, it'd piss off the Manx as well. So I'm warming up to it a little bit more. It'd piss off
Yeah.
City as well. So
Yeah. Because you know what's crazy about it is they
he
say
could show up at the unveiling with the one club in England I always wanted to play for. You could
Yeah,
just lay it on
exactly.
thick like that.
You,
Like,
you just
Manchester
keep
City,
doing
but
PR
this is a
piece after
dream.
PR piece. You just keep doing PR piece after PR piece. This has always
Yeah.
been something I wanted to do. You know,
go back to the old house in Belgium with Stevie G posters on the wall.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're
Out
thinking.
there sliding
Now you're
tackles.
thinking. Yeah.
Mama De
Fernando.
Bruyne there showing all his old Liverpool kits. He only ever wanted Liverpool as a kid. That's all he ever talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah, lay it on,
Exactly.
baby, lay it on.
One last hurrah with his pal Salah. There you go.
Noel Gallagher burning his shirts.
I know,
Yeah.
about to say, you know that would happen. You know that would happen.
I tell you what, he'd be saying, "Don't look back in anger." That's all you'll be singing.
Very nice. Very,
Wow.
very
Well
nice.
played. Well played.
Nelante just won the internet tonight. Nelante just
Yes,
won the
he did.
internet.
Exactly. Give me my price, goddammit. Come out.
That was good.
Perfect
That was
time.
good.
Good dude.
All right. Last but not least, certainly not least, because they are all the apple in our eye, and that is
12 just before you. Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. I was just
No,
going to
that's
say
all right.
just before I'll just say my order for City quickly because I know Brian, you're disgusted with them.
My fault.
Yeah.
I thought my apologies.
But that's all right. That's all right. Don't worry, man. We were talking about the KDB potential free transfer. That's fine. More important.
Yeah.
More
They got
important.
me sidetracked and thinking about it. 'Cause that'd be, oh man.
That's all right. Well, Trent and KDB.
I mean, like it'd be
Pause.
kind of be almost like our yeah, definitely with the pause, but like it would definitely be like it'd be an opportunity to like get one of those players involved in that can do very special things. So yeah, kind of Thiago-esque.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Haaland obviously number 2, Guardiola. Foden would have been my top 5. He's been average the one game this season. 3, Puchovic. He's done decent, and then 4, Savinho. I think he's done all right. I mean, he's still young, but he's had an impressive start. And number 5, again, that's the hard one. I push. I guess you can have the little run for Silver at 5. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got Ronaldo in there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I got you. I still think I think Guardiola should be in that's at least that second spot. He's scored some big goals for them, or some good goals.
Yeah.
Foden only has 4 appearances in the Premier League, 4 as a sub, 461 minutes, no goals, 1 assist, with an average rating of 6.72. That's him in the Premier League. 4 appearances and 4 as a sub.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I wonder what Sam was watching or smoking to put him as second.
1 assist.
Yeah.
88% pass success in the Premier League, 92 in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing better in the Champions League. 3 goals and 1 assist, but that's not what he's ranking him on. He's ranking him on the Premier League. So that's at 461 minutes. I don't know. I think we have to have a word with El Tighe, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Tighe needs to indeed put his glasses on properly and
needs to sharpen up.
Indeed. Terrible. We're coming for him. We're coming for you, sucker. We're coming for you, sucker.
Oh man. There's a question from Bernie for you guys. I already answered it in the chat, so I'll bring it up for you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I saw the question. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you have an answer for that one for her?
Oh,
and it's current. It's current, by the way. It's not in the funds.
So
you know what?
Can we at least on a free? Just to help you, can we just at least hypothetically they're both on a free?
Yeah,
because there's no way.
I mean, because there's no way you'd have to spend $100 million to get him now because he's got a new contract too.
Yeah, it's still
Gordon. That is Gordon's got a new contract at least.
Yeah, So in Atlante, it's current, and they're both on a free. Gordon or KDB.
I think I'll just leave it to 12's response to the lovely Miss Bernadette, and we move.
Yeah. I can't with Gordon, man. To all those that were twerking, thinking about him replacing Lucho.
Yeah, that was a bit mad.
No, I would take Kevin De Bruyne being wheeled into Anfield in a chair over Anthony Gordon with one of those tartan rugs around his legs, thinking it's going to.
He's like,
he's getting wheeled in.
He can still get a head on the ball. He's still gonna.
He'll still ping it. He'll still whip it in for Darwin. He'll still whip it in with his one leg.
And a nurse.
He'd be like, KDB, you've been rubbish
over Gordon. I'm taking that over Gordon. Yeah.
You'd be like, KDB, you've been rubbish all season, but flipping now, just whip this ball in and we'll win the league. Yes. Up there with your one leg. There you go.
There you go.
When he hears you never walk alone, always struggle to get out from the wheelchair, hop with his one leg. Trent passes him, he whips it in. Nunes, Jota, bang. Yeah. He's a hero, national treasure. And then he leaves to Saudi.
Yeah. Man, no. I can't stand Gordon. Anyway,
big up Max. I am Max. There is a bit Max. The man with the football knowledge. Max. Big up Max.
Big up. And also we have there's something else I saw in the chat too, real quick. Oh no, that's all. So I'm gonna make sure I got everyone's inclusion in it. Yeah, I already gave my answer in the chat. So that's it with that. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Anyway, let's move on, like I said, to the Apple in the majority of the people, I would say, if not all the people in the chat's eyes. And if it's not, then it should be. And that is Liverpool. This is his top 5 for Liverpool. And being that this is his, I guess you could say again, his power rankings for players on Liverpool currently. I don't have that much of an issue with this, other than
maybe a bit of a.
I would have maybe brought Konate up a little bit in the ranking rather than have him at the 5 spot. It might sound wild, but I probably would have had Konate, then Gravenberch, and then Trent maybe at the 5 spot. But I also, but if you're just taking it from his list, just his players, but I would have had a couple of different players involved in this list. I would have had definitely players that aren't going to get shouts most likely for MVP or player of the season. We're calling it MVP since it's on the screen like that. I would have had. I think Lucho and I think Cody have had possibly two of the best been in the best form this season when it comes to actual Liverpool players. I think that could be argued at least. I think Gravenberch's been incredible. I mean, there's been a lot. That's why it makes it. I think we even tried to attempt to do this before, and I know that we even said that we were going to maybe do like a top. We're going to probably try to do like a power rankings of our own maybe. And it's an interesting list. I know Bonkers gave his list. Let me see if anyone else has given their list as well. Let me see. Bonkers gave his list as being Salah. He put Ibu at the 2 spot, put Kelleher at the 3 spot, put Ryan at the 4, and then put Lucho at the 5, and gave an honorable mention to Curtis Jones. He has BBD not making his top 5, not even in the honorable mention. Wow. Okay. Was not expecting that one. Can
you put them up on the screen, the people, if they do? I see it now. Salah, Ibu, Kelleher, Grav, Diaz.
And VVD at the 5.
Honorable mention Curtis.
Oh, you want to see? That's Bonkers. You want to see. This is Gene Graves. Gene's got Mo, Ibu, Kells, Grav, and then VVD. Bonkers had it again. He had Salah, Ibu, Kelleher, Ryan, Lucho, and then he has honorable mention Curtis Jones.
Okay, it is.
Let's see who else. Has anyone else got some mentions in here?
Pops
Philip got
and
one
Philip
there. Phil, I see Philip. I see. I'll bring up Pops right after this one. Philip's got Grav, VVD in the top 2 spots. That's what he has, I guess. Okay. And then I know Red for Life. I'm feeling you on that one. Pop's got VVD, Ibu, Grav, Mo, and then Lucho or Kelleher. You can put an honorable mention, Pops. Who would you have in your 5? And then you just give the other player, I guess, the honorable mention. So who gets the honorable mention? Who gets the 5 spot between Lucho and Kelleher for you, Pops? I would love to hear that. Philip gave his list. Bernie gave her list too. So Philip said Gravenberg at the top spot, VVD at 2nd, Kelleher at 3. Kelleher's getting a lot of love, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, he's played well, to be fair, up to this point.
Well,
yeah, he's played well, so he kind of deserves it. I'm not going to argue with that.
Absolutely. And Mo at the 4 spot, and then Ibu at the 5 spot. Yeah, she's Jean Grey is saying the thing about her list is there is like a 0.5 point difference between her top 7. Okay, so she's just saying they're very, very close as to who gets the nods. Bernie says she has Salah, Verge, Ryan, Ibu, and then Trent in the 5 spot. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, you can put an honorable mention if you wanted to put like someone that you thought might be able to get into that 5 spot instead of who you have in the 5 spot. Give them the honorable mention. It's a big 6, so you can have a top 6. How about that? And then Max is saying he's got Mo, VVD, Trent, Grav. Wait, hold on. He's got Mo at number 1, VVD at 2, Trent at the 3. He's got Ryan at the 4 spot. He's got Kelleher at the 5 spot, and he's got Curtis at the 6. And then he even put Canate as a 7th choice, but we're cutting it off at the 6th spot, unfortunately. But noted, I see your 7th spot. I see your 7th choice. And Bernie would have Kelleher as her honorable mention. Everyone likes to chime in on when it gets to Liverpool. Everyone's chiming in. Good, I like it. Everyone's playing along. All right. Cedric has it. Salah, Ibu, and VVD tied. Well, you have to choose between the 2. I know it's tough, but you gotta choose between the 2. So 1 and then 2, and then you have Gravenberg at the 4. And then you have Kelleher at the 5, Lucho at the honorable mention 6, and then Curtis at the 7. Pops just said, okay, Jean Grey said she would have Curtis as the 6th spot. Oh, and she'd have Diaz at the 7. Okay. And then Pop says he would put Lucho in the 5th and have Kelleher. Good for you, brother. Good for you. He had Lucho in the 5th and Kelleher in the honorable mention spot. Yeah, and it's pretty. And again, Bernie, that's what I was mentioning too. It's strange. Cody and Lucho hardly get a mention, and look at their goals and their contributions this year have been enormous. They've both been the reasons why we're doing well in the Champions League. Possibly our best performance has been by both of these players, and most notably by Lucho in the Champions League against the best team too, or one of the best competition or best competitors that we've had to face in the league. So in the Champions League so far, certainly. And then you could even go as far as to say, when it comes to Cody, he is a big reason as to why we're doing so well in the League Cup. I get this. This is for the Premier League. So then
well, that is the thing. This is just for the Premier
League. You then shift to the Premier League, and you still focus in on what they've been contributing. And again, Lucho's been one of our top, other than Salah, he's been one of our top scorers in the Premier League.
Well, this is what happened
behind too. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like when you give like 20 people, like this is what I say. This is always something that shows the strength of your team. Mm-hmm. When you've got like, I don't look at it like that like a negative at all. It's like, hang on, we've got 3 incredible players who can't even get into a top 5. Mm-hmm. That to me is a good thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it's probably because that they're kind of in and outness, you know, in terms of sharing minutes, maybe. Because again, he's going off of the stats there.
Right.
I mean, if you wanted to ask me, like, to me, our 4 most important players, best players this season have been Virgil, Mo, Grav, and Ibu, right? So then that's your 5th. Like everybody is saying, it's that 5th one that you're. So that could be: do you want Diaz? Do you want Curtis? Do you want Kelleher? Do you want Gakpo? Do you want someone else? So I don't think you can leave out Virgil, Mo, Grav, or Ibu. To me, now how would I rate them? That would be a little bit different. I don't think Trent should be in there. I'm not sure why.
I think he's maybe noticing his performances defensively. He's been pretty good defensively.
Yeah, he's getting some props for that. But if you look at him just from just a summary, I can go into defensive if you want. I know you've got a lot of screens open. You're doing some stuff, so I'll throw in a few stats if you want. But in the Premier League, he's 11. This is Trent. 11 appearances, 872 minutes, no goals, 1 assist, passing of 72%, aerial duels, just a quick summary, 0.2, and an average rating of 7.04. So I find it strange that he's that high up his list if he's using these stats as well, because a lot of our other players, like Diaz, like Gakpo, I've just cycled through a couple of them, are much higher. You know, and again, it's just it's summary stats. You know, it's not.
What are his average? What are his average scores? I know that you know how they have the
7.04, 7.04. Now that's in the Premier League. His overall total is 6.94. That includes England.
Okay.
So, but his in the league tackles 2.8 a game, interceptions 0.7, fouls 0.3, offside 0.3, clearances 0.9, dribbles 1.1, blocks 0.3. That's his average across his 11 appearances and 872 minutes in the league this season. So that's his defensive stuff. So I think Trent, I think looking at it, to me, like it would be then I would use that as my kind of special honorable mention. So to put into that 5th, who would I put in? Love Gakpo, love Diaz. Keller's been doing brilliant. Curtis, real light. There's no one else really. The boys in the middle. So I would just give it Gakpo, I suppose, just because I like the guy. It's hard to leave out Keller.
Or is it?
No, as my 5th spot. As my 5th. I'm dropping Trent. Oh yeah, I'm dropping Trent out. You see, you can't argue with the 4.
Yeah, I got you. I'm just asking just for clarity. So yeah.
No, I'm just saying to myself, I can't drop any of the 4 of Virgil, Mo, Grav, Ibu. So who am I going to put in? I'll give Gakpo a shout, and then it'll probably be that rotating spot for everybody. And then honorable mention would be 1000% Kelleher. He's been superb since he's came in. Absolutely superb.
Yeah. Nalante, do you have a different take on this 5, or do you have a different, even an additional 6 spot that you want to put in there if you're comfortable with this 5?
Yeah, I'll echo what Brian said. I wouldn't put Trent in there. I think echo what Brian said. The top 4 of VVD, Salah, Grav, and Kanai, they'll stay in there. And the 5th one is a difficult one. It's true. Like I said, it's between a few players. You know what? I'll go with Kels. I'll go with Kels, to be honest, because Again, we do know obviously Alisson when he played, he's injured, and we had some difficult games. And he's done well. Yes, he's had 1 or 2 mishaps, but Kells has done well. And obviously, you know, Diaz, he started well. He's just gone off the ball a little bit for me, or as he would have been locked in 5th. Same with Gakpo. He's had majority of good games, but in and out of the bench. And then Curtis, obviously, he's only just, you know, got some game time, just started. So yeah, but those would be my 5 for me.
Okay. Do you want to put in a 6? Do you want to put an honorable mention or?
No, it's kind of hard to choose.
Nunes.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, I forgot. Sobo. Yeah, Sobo. Good old Dominic.
You don't even know who her
Oh,
number 1 is. So, oh, man. Nice 5. That's right. Nobody puts Darwin in the corner. No one puts Darwin in the corner.
Well, everybody puts him in the corner tonight by the looks of it.
No.
Yeah.
I was also going to say I get that there's the whole thing about, you know, the numbers and it being only just because I know Pops was quick to point out to me about there are only 5 spots, and you said it was Prem form, not so.
Well, what this guy is going off,
what he's going by is the Premier League.
He's
going with the Premier League numbers and the likes. I was just asking, just like
even so, it doesn't make sense. Some of them does it though. Like, even though he's using the who scored, some of his picks don't make sense.
Well, yeah, and my point is he had Odegaard, for instance, at the number 1 spot. Yeah. I get that Odegaard's important. I get that Odegaard's had some good games, but numerically, I don't think that like he's the number 1. He's if there was a power rankings, I don't think he would be number 1 candidate from Arsenal for a Player of the Season nominee. I just don't. I could see Virgil van Dijk being a nominee for the Player of the Season. I could see Mohamed Salah being a nominee. In my humble opinion, I could see either of them being nominees for a Player of the Season. There's a lot more that goes into getting that nod. Obviously, you know, it takes a lot of like PR and the likes. That's definitely a part of it. And I was saying the part and points about, you know, them playing well in other competitions. I agree with that. Like, as I understand, it's not to be factored in his tabulation. But I was just also saying, just for the fun of it, if you were to tabulate it or try to utilize those things, it does say something of what a player's worth and value and contribution to the club is by the fact that they are performing well in other competitions, along with performing well in the Premier League. You know, there are players that just, you know, they only get their opportunities maybe in the League Cup or something like that, and then, you know, don't really have opportunities to show off in the Prem. But these players have played well in all the competitions, whether it's League Cup, Champions League, and Premier League. I think Cody and Lucho have played very well in all of the competitions. So, along with Kelleher, Van Dijk, obviously Salah has had some very, very, very big moments. Gravenberch was everyone's, you know, was the cat's meow in the beginning of the season. He's somewhat cooled off a little bit in the fervor that is behind his name as of late. But, you know, I'm sure if he gets a goal here or there, it'll pick up again. And with Trent, it's been interesting with Trent. Trent has made a declaration to make a dedication to his defense, and numerically, he's really been doing a good job of it. So it's kind of interesting to see. I would have had Lucho and Cody in my list though, and I probably would have, and it's going to mean that I have to bump out someone that I don't want to necessarily see.
If you want to have Lucho and Cody, you'd have to bump 2. Well, unless you can make.
Well, I'd have an honorable mention. Yeah, they would just be the honorable mention though. I'm
assuming you'd bump Trent.
Yeah, I wouldn't have Trent in my top 5, despite the fact that I do appreciate and acknowledge he's been playing well.
It is a bit mad though, isn't it? And I know we're not going to, you know, hyper focus on it, but 1 assist in the league after this many games, that is a bit mad. Even just playing as a more reserved type right back,
mm-hmm.
You know, that is kind of low. So it's not like he's neutered and told never to cross the halfway line. So it'd be nice if he picked up a few more, just a couple more, maybe from corners or something like that. Because, even in a more reserved type role, he is still able to get forward. So one assist I thought was surprising. He only has.
Yeah.
But like you say, the defensive focus is there for all to see. It's not the same Trent that buccaneering up and down the ring or up and down the wing and having freedom to go where he wants. He's just not that player at the moment. So you can't expect super numbers.
He does go up. He does utilize he's utilizing the wing. He hasn't been given.
Oh, I just mean kind of Klopp, like old school Trent.
No, I know. No, I wasn't. I wasn't even. I'm sorry. I wasn't referring to what you said. I'm just speaking on the chat. I saw something from Max saying one assist because he's not allowed to go forward. He has been able to, go up and down the wing. He just hasn't been as.
Yeah, it's more disciplined.
Yeah, it's more disciplined up area than it has.
I was just thinking, even from corners, sure, if we got a couple, like he takes a lot of corners, surely, if we got a few better headers on things, he'd up those stats a bit. But I'm fine. I'm totally happy with him. So of your dropping trend of your Gakpo and your Diaz, who is it that's going in?
Yeah, I know.
Want to find your Colombian friend?
I would.
Oh God, I'm taking cover. I've just taken cover. Yeah, I've just taken cover, man. He'll still find me. I mean, he could have the. He'd find me in about 5 seconds, but I'll try something anyway.
Yeah,
I'm going.
He's already behind me.
VVD 1, Salah 2. I would go.
My money's on you putting in Lucho, by the way.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I actually would go Cody 3, Lucho 4, and then.
Oh, okay.
And I would.
Grav or Eagle, then that's your question.
I would bump Grav to the honorable mention.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, the guy you went to bat for from day one.
I know, from day one. I went to bat for Grav.
Wow.
You didn't like
it's not like that's
right. I ain't gonna
be
speaking to you though, man.
It's like that. It's that small of a difference. Yeah.
Oh damn, man! You did right there. You tough, man. My days, yeah, man.
I mean,
exactly,
pops.
What's the opposite
of ride or die? I think it's.
Yeah.
I think you
ride
just hopped off
it's,
halfway through there. Like you're
tell you, man,
dude, you're on your own. You're getting too many of these man of the watch awards. I don't like it. I
know, right? I know.
When this gets back to right, man.
Yeah, I was trying to make it where at least people say I'm being objective, right? I'm being objective. Grav has been like, I just think Grav is like really incredibly. He was incredibly powerful in the beginning of the year. I think it's been interesting how our midfield has slightly transitioned a little bit. Maybe it's other teams trying to force us to do different things, but
I know. I believe we spoke about this the other day, didn't I? I said like every manager in the Premier League has had an ever increasing number of games to watch us now. So they've all watched what we were doing. Like for the start, there was a lot of people they didn't quite know what Grav was doing or how important he was, but now they'd all been watching. They'd realize we were doing it. So obviously he was going to get a bit more attention.
Right.
I think that's got a lot to do with it. He wasn't going to have.
They're trying to take him out of the game more.
Prize factor. Yeah, they were targeting him more. Put 2 men on him.
Yep.
Everything goes through him, so shut him down. Whereas at the start of the season, maybe not so much. But they had a lot more video of Liverpool to watch now. So it's an easy one. Everything goes through that young Dutch lad. So you might want to mark him.
Right.
So definitely less freedom. Less of a surprise factor, but now he has to learn how to get around that, and I think he has the abilities, but he's never going to have it as easy as he did when people didn't realize when he was the pivot, where he was the one that, of course, they would have realized in game, but they won't be set up to counter it as much as they can now. So that's purely natural as far as I'm concerned. So you create clever managers will create build-ups, and they will create scenarios that then take that into account and then allow him to get into space and allow him to get into position to still do those things. So it's like chess. Football is like chess. Oh, well, they've done this, so now I do that. Football is a game of constantly countering what your opponent is doing. If it's working, like if you're dominant in what you do, you won't really need to do it. But if you're up against special teams, it's about how quickly you can counter. And I think that's what Slot is very, very good at, is analyzing a game in the middle of a game and realizing what he needs to do to change it. Now, I always talk about, I love a good halftime manager. That to me is a manager who can see what's happened in the first 45 minutes, analyze it, know what he needs to do to change it, communicate that to his team at halftime, and put them out in a place to do it. And I think Slot is very good at that. So I think we'll see him cottoning on to what people are doing to stop us, and then counteracting that again. So it'll be endlessly fascinating in terms of how he does that.
Yeah. I know people are calling me. Bernie said no mention of Dom. I know. I get that. Wait for the top 10 when we do our power rankings, or even maybe even, I don't know how long of a list we're going to create, but when we do
our top 23 Liverpool players.
Yeah.
So everybody gets in.
So everybody gets in. So everyone gets in. Yeah. When we do our power rankings, then
you got Pops giving you the eyes.
We'll wait for the even bigger wows from everyone.
No, you got Pops giving you the eyes. You know you fucked up when you got Pops giving you the eyes. Yeah.
Chingray said the wow, and I saw that. So I guess so. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's because like Cody's been consistent. He's been very consistent this year. Very, very consistent. And I think that it's not that drastic of a difference between the two. Like, guys, I don't think it's night and day.
Can I ask a question to help you out of your hole here? Not a hole, but to change it. Can I ask a question which I hope would be kind of will make sense? Can you name the one player that, say, you are surprised that you might have had in your top 5, right? Say, going back to the start of the season, say is there an honorable mention that you had in your head that you're surprised was in your head? And who is the player that you're most surprised isn't high up in your top 5? Does that make sense as a question?
So you're asking me who?
Oh, to everybody. Like, who is the player that isn't in this top 5 or your top 5 that at the start of the season you would have said will definitely be in it? And who is the player that you're most surprised nearly got into it?
I would have had Trent in my top 5. Easy.
Yeah.
I know that he's in his top 5, but he's not. I wouldn't. Yeah. I would have had Trent hands down as being a top 5 participant.
So which player are you kind of nearly putting in your top 5 that you wouldn't have thought at the start of the season would be getting into your top 5?
Oh, probably,
like a Jones or a Keller,
yeah,
that kind of vibe. Like,
to be out of the top 5 that I made right now, I probably would say.
Oh no, it might even be an honorable mention that you
probably
would have been an honorable mention. It might just have to be an honorable mention.
No, I would have probably gone with I probably would have gone with Cody as being I'm surprised is in my top 5. And why I'm surprised is in my top 5 with clarity or context, I should say. I didn't think that he would, because Lucho and him play the same position.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would certainly, if we're saying top 5 for like League Cup, okay, that's a different story.
No, I hear you. You didn't think he'd have the minutes.
I didn't think he would get the minutes to qualify to be in this list.
Yeah. Nalante, is Nalante available? Is he?
Yes, he is available. Or at least he's off of mute.
What the surprise who would be in my top 5?
No, it was kind of like, which player are you most surprised? Say if I'd asked you at the start of the season, which
Yeah.
player are you most surprised isn't in your top 5? And which player are you most surprised
That's
either
a
got
shout.
into it or didn't nearly, or was an honorable mention?
I'll bring up your shout in a second, Bonkers. I'll let Nolante answer so he doesn't.
I would say because of the top 5 I've given, I have to say Lucho. Because I thought he would be definitely be in my top 5.
Shout out to Robbo, by the way.
Yeah, Lucho. Yeah, Robbo.
No. Robbo just scored. Robertson just scored.
Okay. Oh, nice.
He scored the game winner.
Liverpool dominating these games these days internationally.
That's what we do.
Yeah, all over the globe.
Flex on them.
Flex on them. Man. Do his typical run and skip run celebration.
Skip to my loo.
Yeah. I think the obvious surprise, which most people put in there, is Kells, because none of us could have imagined Alisson being injured for the amount of time he's had injuries, amount of time. And listen, Kelleher, as good as he is, you never know what happens. But in near enough every game, he's been very good. He's been very, very good, even to the point where I personally think, which is not going to happen, if Alisson is fit under the international break, since Kelleher is the goalkeeping form, I'll say stick with him. But that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think the overall consensus from the chat was Maka. That's why I know.
Yeah, that was me. That was mine. Yeah. The guy that I'm most surprised isn't in my top 5. Like the guy that I'm completely would have had, he'd be top 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mac, and he's not even in the honorables. So again, Bernie mentioned it earlier on. We both replied in kind, I think, that we just think it's fatigue. We just think it's just tiredness with Mac, and he could probably do with a little bit of time out and just recuperate. He'll come back. He's too good not to. We've seen him do it for years now. But I'm really surprised that he isn't. And the guy that I'm most surprised that was in contention to be in my top 5. I mean, it's a bit like you're saying, Alante. It is a bit of a, I don't know what the right word is, but it's a kind of a loophole with Kelleher because it's only because Ali is injured.
Yeah.
Whereas if you told me he was going to play, I wouldn't be surprised he'd do well. So I would say the guy that I was given an honorable mention to, actually, to be honest with you, I would say Gravenberch to a degree because his future was so up in the air. I think, I'd actually say that. I think that's me. If I think about it,
I'd put too much stock on him being good to not be surprised. I mean, like,
I don't think it's a surprise.
I gave my reason why I said Cody.
I just didn't. I suppose I didn't know if he was going to be in the team or not. I suppose I could say, but mainly, I suppose, and I didn't mention it that much. But the main one, number one would be Curtis Jones. But I'm shocked that Mac isn't even in most people's or in anybody's.
Yeah, Macca was Bonkers gave a shout to Macca. Jean Grey gave a shout for Macca. Philip says Grav surprise in my top 5. Macca surprise not at least at honorable mention. Max says Gravenberch, nearly all of us thought wasn't going to make it. Massive surprise. And Bernie says she's surprised. Not surprised of Kelleher. He's been solid every time he's played. Honorary mention, Curtis nearly got in his for Bonkers. Diaz and McAllister for Abdul. Okay. Stop, Bonkers. Dominic is not in the 23 spot. Stop. Anyway, he's not 23rd ranking. Well, you'll have to wait and see. You'll have to wait and see for that rankings. We're going to do a power rankings show, but we have a really fun quiz show that's going to be coming up pretty soon. We have a couple of other episodes that we're going to be doing with a couple of different games. We're going to have another game night this week as well. as we, edge closer towards getting back into Premier League games, we have our matches on Sunday, so that's fun.
We're in the wilderness right now, aren't we?
Right.
We're currently in the middle of the wilderness, but we can see some signs of life on the horizon. Mm-hmm. It's Monday in the middle of an international week. It's about as bad as it gets, but we're nearly out of it.
Nearly out, and then we don't have to worry about another international break until I think March is the next international break after that. So yeah, we don't have to worry about that. It's just all League Cup, FA Cup, obviously the Champions League, and also the Prem, obviously. And we also have a very big matchup coming up. Southampton's a big matchup in itself, because that could be a banana peel game. So I'm not overlooking that game one bit. And also we have then the very, very, very big matchup against Real Madrid. I'm hoping that we can really make a difference in that game by handing Real Madrid a defeat. And I would love to see a very, very embarrassing defeat for that too. I would love to see that. I'd like to see actually Trent Alexander-Arnold score. I'd like to see TAA score in that game and see if he celebrates. That'd be interesting. You think he does? You think he does? Yeah.
Ooh, that's at Anfield, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
it'd be better if it was that. Yeah, if it was that in Madrid.
Yeah, if he's at the Bernabeu and he's swinging a jersey above his head, he's taking.
Yeah, Pedro Porro style.
I don't care. Yeah, everything just go nuts in front of the ultras that pay you £1,000 a week to go there or something. I don't know, but yeah, that would be fun. What we got coming back, I don't know. We finished the thing. Are we going to do a bit of the extra stuff, the news? I have a few topics. I don't know. Are we going late? Are we going too long? Or
I was going to. We're at the 2-hour mark, so I was going to end the show, but we can do like 10-15 minutes of news if you'd like. Go ahead and take over for the news.
No, I was just wondering what you thought about the Anthony Robinson story that's picked up a bit of traction there.
Enlighten us, bring in people into the news.
Well, it was just a story that was there. I read it today. That again, I don't know. I'm not going to stake my life on it, but that we're very interested in Anthony Robinson, and he has a price tag of 40 million, and we're hoping that we can get that down lower by sending a certain Greek scouser the other way. So that is the gist of the story. Whoa. But that we're prepared to pay a good fee, but we're not prepared. Well, not that we're not prepared, but that we rate the player very, very highly. He's on the wish list, and that we think there could be a deal to be done in terms of softening the blow by including Kostas Tsimikas. So that was pretty much the gist of it. There were no quotes, but again, it's the usual thing. It came from, I think, a Belgian outfit. I'll try and find it, but it was yesterday. Yeah, so or this morning I saw it. So I'm just wondering what. I mean, we like the guy. I mean, we've spoken about him a lot, Anthony Robinson, and I said, a little bit on the age wise, maybe not so much. 27 now, but the idea that you could, we're not going to pay 40, but using not a make weight, but but that's the thing, Redford. It wouldn't be a straight swap. It would basically be, instead of us paying them the full 40, we would try and arrange new. Now, and I'm sure, look, if we said to Simi, you could be out the door. You want to go to Fulham.
No. He'd
It
say,
takes it.
he'd ask, "Is Mo coming with me?"
Yeah, it's a bit,
Exactly.
He's not
Yeah.
leaving, man. He's definitely not leaving. He's
I
got
ain't leaving.
no
I'm back. The
way.
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
no way.
Dad, I ain't leaving.
I can make it work in my head. I can see Simi going to Fulham. Nice life in London, nice wage. If we tell him we'd like him to move on, that's different. That's different. When you say to a player, "We'd like you to move on," okay, then he has to weigh up his options. But it's not the worst thing in the world to go and play for Fulham in London. But if we want to bring in Anthony Robertson,
so what are you gonna say? Like you'd like him? You really think?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just painting a picture. If he comes
I know,
and say, "Look, Simi, do you want to go to London?"
Like, kind of, I guess, spray painting over your picture. In that, like, I just don't. Yeah, I don't. I can't see Simicast saying, "I'm going to leave a club that is in contention for a title." That is competing in the Champions League, and
I know, but you didn't.
And he's played a part in both of them.
Yeah, but you didn't read the title. The main bit. If we say to him we want him to leave,
that's what I'm saying. If you say
to him we'd like, then I'm saying there's worse.
Mm-hmm.
I was just riffing on. There's worse things in the world that you can do is move to a club like Fulham. That's if we want. I don't think it's a very strong story anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the thing. I was just, what would people think of the idea of bringing in that guy? And
I mean,
not so much the Simicast bit. Yeah, no, not so much the Simicast bit. More about bringing him in. It's just that bit was added in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really the Simi bit. It's just sort of like, what do we think of Anthony Robertson? I think that'd be a great signing for us. I mean, yeah, whatever the fallout is, but
it's just interesting that story came out, and all I've seen so far, whether it was Lawrence McKenna, whether it's been who else, Copish, whether it's been like all these different other channels that I do rate, obviously. And even the ones that I take with a grain of salt, everyone's got Kirkes as being the left back that we're going all in on. Now, would he go to Bournemouth?
What, Simi? No.
Yeah.
Oh no, that wouldn't work. No, that wouldn't work. Though. I just think it's more like kind of like.
I'm just asking, why wouldn't that work in your opinion?
No, because I think Fulham, Bournemouth.
Is it just a allure of London? Is that what you're saying?
I think a lot of it would be, yeah. But I think Fulham will be able to pay you more, higher profile, definitely higher profile. They're doing well this year as well. Yeah, I don't get that. Again, I'm the same with the whole. It very rarely works when you try and include a player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if Alphonso Davies is going to happen for us. Theo Hernandez, Mendy.
I would love to see
Davies
be an option for us to, and for us to get one over on beating Real Madrid to a very good player. But I don't.
I just think if we got Robinson, you get maybe 3-4 really good years out of him. I just think he'd be a good player to sign, but I don't know. It's interesting that they're putting out there's loads of Kirkes links, right? There's now we've got a Robinson link, so maybe there is a kind of, what would you call it, a smoke signal out there that we are looking for a left back.
Yeah, big up to Gene. That's cool. Gene says Fulham will look after Simicast. To be fair, she used to work for Fulham, and she has a lot of love for employers. That's super cool.
I think we're getting lost in the Robertson Kirkes sauce. I think there's someone who's better than both of them, and again, he's getting slept on. He's only 18, and that's Jarrell Hato from Ajax. He is a player. He can play left back and centre back, left forward, man. He is quality. We get him in the next 10 to 12 years, honestly. Trust me, he beats, for me, better than Robertson and Kirkes, man. That's who we should be targeting. But again, we'll see. But he is that guy. He is that guy.
What's his name again?
Jared Heto.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays for Ajax.
He's really young. He's 18 years old. He's
Dutch
18.
kid or
Dutch, Dutch. Yeah. Dutch, yeah.
Dutch player, 18 years old, 6 feet tall, left footer.
Yeah, can play left back and can cover centre back.
He'd be one for the future for certain. He'd be like definitely one for the future. I just don't know if you bring in. I guess you could. If you did that, then that means I personally would make a extra effort to make sure that I sign Robbo to an extension. And why I would say that is because I'm not going to say that we should put the futures of our team in the hands of an 18-year-old as being right starter.
No, 100%. But at the same time, if they're good enough, they're old enough, they're good enough.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
Yeah,
and then if you want to do it, then Robbo, a year, 18 months, or Simicast is still going to be there, and Heto, and then give him 2 years, and then he'll play games, and then man, and you can unleash him. So, and then so there's that as well, and we've got Owen Beck as well in the academy. Owen Beck, who's he's done well as well. So again, it really depends where we want to go, but it looks like we're going to buy. But we need to be getting Heto. For me, I'll take him all day over Robertson and Pelicans.
Okay. Abdul saying, 21-year-old, higher ceiling, room to develop skill and ability. Ajax players haven't had it good lately in the Prem. Well, I guess.
Yeah, but we ain't signed any of them, have we? Yeah. We signed a boy from Holland. And he's done pretty well. Pretty well.
Yeah. No, he would, but that's not down to him. That's down to us. Yeah.
Is he a bit of a Lenny Yoro type thing? You know that is like a kind of a young guy. He can play left back and play centre half. Kind of.
Yeah, he can cover left back, centre back, but he's very astute. Even at his young age, I've watched a few Ajax games because I've been listening to him, and he's very quick. He's quick, and he can defend, and he's attacking. He's a little bit of a proven, but he's not really that bad. He really is not that bad.
Okay, is he a left back who can play centre half, or a centre half who can play left back? If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll say he's doing right now. He's more left back than centre back, if I'm honest. But again, in the future, possibly, I would say give him about 4 to 5 years. You could possibly play him as an out and out centre back. But for now, he's more left back than that can cover centre back at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. So in the future, he's going to be centre half. He's not going to be a Robbo. He's not going to be he's not going to be a Luke Shaw. He's not going to be an Estupinan. He's going to be like an Ignacio or something.
You could say that, but he just like
he's not a left back, old school left back bombing forward.
No, he's not. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say he's an old school left back like a Robbo in that context.
One of those guys that if Pep bought him, he'd be playing in centre midfield in about 6 months. One of those kind of guys, by the sounds of it.
He's like, he's similar. He's like Guardiola, basically. In that context.
Cool.
Yeah. You want to compare him? He's like.
I didn't know who you were talking about, but when someone put the name in the chat, Hato, I do remember like about 6 months ago seeing some video or something about some young kids coming up in Ajax, and I remember Hato was an interesting name, but you've got to get that guy in between. Like there's such a difference between someone like him and something like Robinson, right? A 27-year-old or an 18-year-old. I mean, it's all. And Kirkes is right in the middle. He's what, like 23, something like that.
Yeah, does he? 22,
like,
21.
I'd love to buy two. If you told me, right, okay, let's be just for a second. Simi leaves, right? and we get a great bid for Simi, 25. I would love us to bring in a kid like that guy Hato and a Robinson. That's what I'd like to do, and just shore that whole thing up. But to bring in a guy like that for the future, Hato, what's that going to cost you? Before, you used to be able to maybe do that, and you get a Robinson in, he's 27, 28, you get 3 or 4 years with him there, and Andy is there, maybe not, I don't know, whatever's going to go on there, but then you got this young kid behind him, with Owen Beck as well. Yeah, I'd like to do both, but we're probably only going to do one, and it's kind of like the Goldilocks thing, is that Carquez is probably in the middle. Prem proven, not too expensive, plenty of years left in him.
Yeah. Reacting to the talks about one of the pieces in the news is about Chiesa still is in the news about apparently that he is, I think someone put in there that he's homesick or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm ignoring that. They're just clickbaiting. I ignore that. I'm ignoring them Chiesa nonsense stories.
I think that's just.
I'm just waiting for the first story about how there's no good Italian food in Liverpool and his wife wants to leave. I'm just waiting.
Right. I think that's just that's just what it is. It's just journalists sensationalizing things and trying to get like something to write about in these like little bit of lulls of moments where it makes no sense. It makes no sense that you spent for what the money that you spent for Chiesa. It was so little that you can wait for him to get up to speed to play without saying, oh my goodness, he spent 30 million or he spent 40 million or whatever. That's a little bit different story. But if it's considering the amount of money that we did spend for him, I don't think you could, and considering that I don't even think he's not even on that much money right now. We'll check on how much he's on for.
Oh, and there was the other story that it was a healer earlier on. I think he wanted to talk about was the Bentancur.
Oh yes, I had that
story.
I had that start. Yep. Yeah. Actually, he is on. He's on 150,000. No, that is a little bit more than I thought he was
on. Oh yeah, just a
4-year deal. I think we gave him as well. He ain't going anywhere.
I don't think it's going anywhere. You don't sign someone to a 4-year deal for 150,000 a week and say, yeah, no, we're gonna before we even get to see you play, we're gonna ship you out on a loan deal. I don't think that's happening. Stranger things have happened, I'm certain, but I just don't think that's happening. Let me bring up the. I said I would. Bentancur got a 7-match ban and a 100,000 fine, £100,000 fine for racial slurs against his own teammate's son. That means, of course, that he will be out against Liverpool when we play them. I said I was going to talk about that a little bit. I didn't want to get super in depth with that, but it was my response earlier in the chat was simply that it's very interesting that this particular player ends up getting a very harsh. I mean, that's a very stiff fine, and one that possibly should be what he sees for, what he said and how disgusting it was that the comments were, but at the very same time, it's just interesting that Enzo sings a song that is looked at as being, racially motivated and despicable and the likes, and his he's not dealt with as harshly as Rodrigo was. So that's quite interesting.
They made him captain.
They even made him captain.
You see what I said? What you see when I was talking the other night when you were talking when we were doing the watching the biggest tonkings as it were, the biggest ass whoopings we'd handed out, and when I talk about how I enjoy beating
top 10
Chelsea,
beatdowns,
yeah, when I talked about how I enjoy beating Chelsea more than any other team almost, it's because of stuff like that. Because that's just the kind of club and the kind of team they are every single year without fail. They just prove who they are every single time. That's why I just really enjoy beating that club. It was a stupid crass joke. It was like the kind of stuff you used to see on TV in the 80s, even in the 90s and 2000s, white guys dressing up as Chinese people with the whole thing. The whole Chinese people all look the same, Asian people all look the same. That's like classic old school, not classic, sorry, typical 80s, 90s stuff, jokes. It's like you would expect somebody to have left that shit behind a long time ago. It's not like but again, footballers are quite like that. They make kind of silly those are kind of silly things they say to each other. But somebody else, I think it was Ezekiel Lavezzi, who's also an Argentinian, or sorry, Bentancur was Uruguayan. But Lavezzi, he did a promo, an opening when he signed for a Chinese club, and he literally did the whole, pulling his eyes back thing. I mean, it is like massively stupid to say something like that. But again, I don't think he was. I don't think it was like anything behind it that much. It's just an incredibly stupid thing to say. But it just shows how some of these players, that's how they probably take the piss out of each other on a daily basis. Which is, but you don't do it in an interview or whatever. He was in an interview, right? Or some kind of club promo or something, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was, but he was on camera. He's literally being interviewed, and he made the joke, I think. But like you said,
you can't tell the difference between them or something, or
it was something like that. It was the whole, they all look the same, kind of tired, old, broke joke, racist joke, totally,
can I ask this then? And ask this to the both of you, and this is maybe just a nuanced way of looking at it, but do you maybe, despite the fact there's no place for it in the games, no place for it in general, but can you at least say that now that it's out in the open, it's now a testament of, does the person learn and grow from it and make an effort to understand why it's offensive and the likes, and you can judge them from that point on. At least you do have an idea of it all, because it's very similar to what I was saying about. It's what I was saying about. I didn't post a comment. I ended up not posting it, but Football Terrorist did something on David Coote, and they were talking about xenophobia, and initially he mentioned about xenophobia, but then it became he brought it to the attention of David Coote's substance abuse and how he's this and how he's that, and how it's like this rally to kind of like protect David Coote and the likes. But now that you at least know his true character, there's no it's like what would you prefer to have, like a known racist or a bigot that just hides behind closed curtains?
Oh Jesus, right? Okay,
like that's like I'd rather personally that you deal with the
that's a hell of a complicated question.
Yeah, I'd rather like know what your true character is. I know that's getting deep, and it might be getting too deep for some, but I mean, like, I just think of it, I'd rather know your true character. I'd rather know exactly what it is that you do feel about me, and then we can hopefully work towards enlightening you, making you a better person, or educating you in the likes, so that you don't have those tendencies to have those stereotypes or have those, obviously ugly prejudices in you in the likes. Like, that's not. I'd rather see you become a good person rather than you stay a bad person, even if it's behind, the veil of silence or something like that. Right? Those things, I guess you could say. You know, that's what I'm asking. It's a deep question, and I understand that. But
Nolante, do you?
I know I just put it out there, so there's no hiding behind what I had to say. It's out there for the
cool.
world to hear.
Oh, that's easy. I want to know who I'm dealing with. So if you're racist, you're racist. You're a scumbag, and I know how you are. But just don't get involved in my face. So I know your character. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's no now there's no hiding behind it. I guess you know the person's character. There's no like. There's a thing over here. There's a show back in the 50s or 60s. I don't know. It was called Leave It to Beaver. It was called, and you can pause it on that one. But it was a show. It had a character called Eddie Haskell in it, and Eddie Haskell was like a character that all the parents thought was like a good upstanding guy. He's just the nice kid next door, and he's just this really nice guy, nice kid, nice young man. But Eddie Haskell was like devious. He was like, he's a troublemaker. He was always like, his friends knew who he was, but the parents didn't know who he was. He always come in and all the parents would be like, oh yeah, what a good guy. He'd be the kind of like, oh yeah, you should date my daughter type thing or something. But if you knew what type of person he was, you wouldn't be saying that. I'd rather know the character of the person than
100%.
have someone put on false pretenses and the likes. That's what I'm getting at. And seeing a lot of these now that there's so many different angles of spotlights that you can find yourself in, whether it's people's cell phones or whether it's like obviously it's not just all about you're in front of a television camera. Now it could be you have to be like you have to be real at all times. So I think that's a better way of looking at it.
Yeah, no, it's hard for me. I mean, I'm the middle-aged white guy in the corner. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think with somebody like Bentancur, because I have no experience of it. Someone like Bentancur, I think basically, in my opinion, you can be in trying to be funny. And just being, like I say, footballers, they grow up in kind of basically a arrested development state a lot of the time, where they grow up. And so, especially with language barrier or cultural barrier, I think you can, in trying to make a joke, you can be accidentally racist once, right? You can do that once. And someone go, yeah, no, dude, you shouldn't have made that joke. It's, oh, okay. It's a yeah, no. And then you don't, it's a, oh shit, okay. I just thought it was funny. I didn't realize it was offensive. But if, that can happen once to anybody, right? Especially, like I say, people are just trying to make a joke or, and it's pointed out to them. Like I said, then they learn from it. And they're like, oh, fuck, right. I did not realize that that's genuinely offensive. I will never do that again. I was just trying to take the piss out of my mate, to be honest. But yeah, okay. So really, fucking, I'm genuinely sorry. I don't have feelings like that. It's not like I just literally was trying to take the piss out of my mate, and I didn't realize I put my foot in my mouth massively. Never does it again. Learns from it. But then, if you have people who are out there, like you say, you want to know what that sheriff is like, don't you? That's, I think, what you like. You want to know straight up from day one that he doesn't like you and he doesn't want you there. Okay, I know who I'm dealing with now. I get what that makes it a lot easier, because then you can judge people on their true colors as opposed to someone they're pretending to be. But it's very, it's a harsh lesson for people, but it just shows you. To me, it's almost like playground banter, that kind of stuff. It doesn't really seem like a kind of a deep-seated dislike of other people or Asians or whatever. It just seems like an idiot making a stupid joke, which is, now he's paid the price for it, But I think we all know there's much more clearer levels of this. And if he was to come out and just go make a big statement about how he's basically fucked up, I think that should be cool. But like something like you were saying with the Enzo Fernandez thing, that's a completely different level because of what went on. That was that was bad enough, right? We all know that's bad enough. And we all know that even though that song itself, you could actually say most of it out loud and you wouldn't get banned for saying it on YouTube. There's no actual real bad words in it. But the song itself is like, it tells you everything you need to know. So then you're sitting there going, okay, so there's some education needs to be happening here. And so instead of doing the whole education thing, they go, here's the captain's armband. You know, that undercuts a lot of it.
Right.
For me, like that is that's like how not to deal with something. So we all read the stories about Fana, Badashili, people like that are like sitting there going, you've just done that to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand how a club can deal with it like that. That to me is one of the worst decisions I've seen in football in a very long time. And there's a lot of them. There's a long list of bad decisions in football. That to me is right up there.
Yeah. Big up Dustin, by the way. Big up Dustin joining us right now. Big up, big up. Yeah, it's a touchy situation, touchy subject. I know it doesn't necessarily vibe well with some because we've all had bouts of some type of persecution possibly in our lives. So like as in, that isn't really easy to go through, much less when it's coming from someone that you call your teammate. That's got to be extremely difficult to deal with. But again, I think that hopefully it's a learning moment for the person, and I hope that they it's one thing for you to mess up. And that's notable. You can mess up.
We all fuck up. We all mess up.
It's about how you bounce back and react to it, and what you do in the men's. To me as well, can speak louder than maybe even your initial slip in judgment. So that's all I was trying to get across.
Yeah, I believe that too. I think the way that somebody reacts to something and changes their character from it,
right.
Especially if it's a one-off, right. If it's not like, oh, this guy's done this 50 times, don't expect him to change.
Right.
If he makes that mistake once, the way he comes back from that, it is a harsh punishment. Like you said, 7 games. It puts you in the headline.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it puts you in the headline for racial abuse. It just goes down as racial abuse. Yeah.
You become the it's not a good look. Like it's not a good look. So yeah. But I also know that.
Okay, Alante. Did you see Alante's thing in the private chat?
I did see it. Oh, you know what?
I heard some kerfuffle over this myself. I heard some kerfuffle. All
right. We can do. You want to do the Troy Deeney thing before we leave? We can do it real quick, I guess. It's 2:30. We're at the 2:30 mark.
Yeah.
I'll give us another I'll give you give us another
we can do your happy moment. We can do your happy moment and the Troy Deeney, because I haven't heard the Troy Deeney comment. Somehow I've missed it, and I can't wait to hear, because he's an absolute bellend. I can't wait to hear what he said now.
It was about basically Mo Salah and his preferences. But go ahead. His preference that he doesn't rate Mo Salah like that.
In context, well, he rates him, but he doesn't rate him.
Right.
Just contradicting himself.
Right. You want to go? You can tell the people what do you have to say.
So basically, Brian, Mr. Deeney, he's not quick to shy from comments about anything. I mean, obviously, he failed in his little stint with management, was kicked out after 20-something days. But anyway, So basically, they asked him about Mo Salah, and he said, "Oh well, he's got great stats. He's a quality player, but
all good so far, all correct so far." Yeah,
But then he said, in his opinion, he's not world class. And he said people will tell him, "Oh, who are you to say that?" And he said it's just his opinion. He's saying when he looks at Finney Jr., he sees a better quality player. And he said the way Mo Salah plays, he wouldn't like his. In other words, he wouldn't like his kids to look up to Mo in terms of his gameplay, so to speak, but more to be more like a Finney Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a phenomenal player, but
like he said, he's entitled to his opinion.
It's almost as bad. I think I get everyone's entitled to their opinions, and and he can hopefully be
it's a shit one. It's a shit one. It's a shit opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
About that.
entitled
I don't know why he chose Vinny Jr. out of that one. But then again, it's almost. I think there is certainly a
jealousy.
Jealousy. Yeah, I can say that.
Can you imagine if Troy Deeney had scored? If Troy Deeney had scored 20% of the goals that Salah has scored, he'd be one of the top English strikers. Like he said, who am I to say? It's like I would go the opposite. Like someone say to someone say to Troy Deeney, what he's saying is someone's going to say to him, "Who are you to say that Mo isn't whatever world class because you weren't that good? You weren't this, you weren't that. So who are you to say whether he's world class or not? He wasn't that good, so he should know exactly who's world class or not. What I would be saying to him is, how can you, being at the level that you played at as a player, not recognize that he's world class and expect somebody to take you seriously? That's like someone like just saying, oh, they can't, like, that he can't even recognize a good footballer. That's what he's saying there, is he can't recognize a good footballer when he sees one. Just for the sake of what? Like, when did we break his heart?
I don't even know if it's that. I think that Mo Salah, despite being definitely getting praise and the likes, I think for some reason there is a disconnect. And I'm not saying he's, the greatest Premier player of all time or something like that. He still has some work to do, a little bit more work to do to achieve that. I'll agree with that. But maybe if he wins another Prem, or maybe if he breaks a few more records, certainly he could be in the argument. I think that you could possibly argue that now too as well, depending on who you ask. But there was a piece done by, it wasn't The Overlap. I'm trying to think of what the name of that show is. The one where it's like Roy Keane, Neville, and
The Overlap. The Overlap.
Okay.
Yeah, The Overlap. Yeah.
Okay.
They're all sitting around a bar and drinking tea and eating cakes and that thing.
Well, because there's an overlap where they have all the
there's two versions. Yeah, there is. There's two versions. There's the one where they sit around all having breakfast. And then there's another one where he just does stuff on his own. Yeah.
On this overlap, they got asked the question of like, who's the best player by decade?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And they went through a lot of the early decades, okay, with the 90s and the 2000s. That's one thing. But they got to the 2010 to 2020. And what was pretty interesting is they chose Kevin De Bruyne. They chose KDB as the player in that list, or as being the 2010 to 2020, greatest player for that decade. And why I thought that was interesting, and I'm not saying KDB isn't a phenomenal player, and I'm not saying that he isn't a player that is worth noting. I also know that in that decade, how many championships, how many Prems did they win from 2010 to 2020?
3 or 4.
Is it 3 or 4?
It should be 4 because they won it in the Aguero goal was 2012. Then he won it again in 2014.
Yeah.
And then 17, and then
have to be 4.
19. Oh no, it's more. No, it's 4.
At least
it's
4.
It's 4.
Yeah, have to be 4 because it's 2024 now. They've got 7.
Yeah.
There's no time to go. So yeah, 4 would have been mine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the Chelsea. Yeah.
I think he was. Even though they won, I think like some of those years though he didn't. He was like injured for portions of the year for that as well, wasn't it? My point is that
I can see why they voted for him. You can see why they voted for him. He's up there. He's in your top 3. Just, I mean, it's. I don't know who was voting. Was Roy Keane and Gary Neville, Ian Wright, the usual gang, Carragher.
Yeah, it's all 4 between all 4, and then the other one, Jill Scott. Well, anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. They don't have a City. Is she City? Because they don't have a City player.
No, Jill's got. No, she's more. She's up north. She's more Newcastle, Sunderland. She's the northeast.
Because the City boys, it's still like the punditry is still basically Liverpool, United, and then everybody else. There's no,
outside.
In years to come, will there be? There'll be Man City pundits everywhere. I suppose Mika Richards. Yeah, Mika Richards.
Yeah, Mika.
He probably associates himself. He forgets all the clubs he was shit at. And he just associates himself with Man City.
1, 2, 3, 4. So they have 4 from 2010 to 2020. They have 4.
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Like who was his?
2 of those years, Liverpool ended up.
For them, like what was their top 3? Do you remember like who was their top 3? Like who finished to go second? Or I mean,
no, they only offered out their they offered out only like one name. Like each one said one name pretty much, and they all said KDB for 2010, 2020. And why I was saying that it's pretty wild to hear that is that I get it. One of the arguments I did hear was a little bit different, but he has 4 titles, but during that run, and it wasn't just for, I don't know if it was Premier League. It was just for a player that is in the Premier League, but they rated things other than just the Premier League. Like they talked about Champions League stuff in the piece too, like how they did well in the Champions League and such. And why I'm only bringing this up is because Salah. I think you could make a pretty strong argument that Salah could be in that running, despite the fact that he hasn't won 4 titles. He did win a title, and he did win a Champions League title as well. He also numerically, like as in when it comes to the competitions, like he's got 165 goals in the Prem, right? Whereas in KDB's got 69 goals. And then you might say, KDB's got 115 assists, but the number difference isn't as drastic, considering that he's got 75 assists. Mohamed Salah's got 75 assists.
I think we all get the pitch. I think you think Salah should have won it. I think we can hear that.
Well, what I was saying too, though, is that like
I don't think you said it's a wild. Like I don't think it's a wild shout to say that KDB was up there. I mean, I can't. He's got to be on the podium.
I just think that I was just the way that they made it sound. They just made it sound like KDB is hands. They all said hands down without a doubt. They all made a point. Without a doubt, it's KDB.
Yeah,
KDB.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, there is a little bit of a doubt. I mean, you could have given Mo Salah at least a little bit of a
It's a conversation. That's
conversation. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
saying
those things I'd be more interested in.
I'm not saying that KDB can't be argued as being the best for that decade, but I'm just saying you could make an argument to say that Salah should be at least a conversation.
I reckon he probably was. I would imagine.
It wasn't.
That's what
That's
I
why
like.
I'm-
No,
that's why
I
I'm
mean
saying
with the when they're coming in with the.
No.
I mean, if you'd asked them to put down a podium, that's it. Like they've all been.
No, because they made arguments for other people. Like it wasn't. They went around.
That's what I was.
Yeah, they went for like, for instance, for the 2000 or for the 90s actually, I think it was two went for Cantona, and then like
I don't. It's the Gary Neville show, you know.
I know, I get that, but the girl on there said gave Roy Keane a shout.
Yeah, Keane, yeah.
But like even when they went to and again, I mean Wright is on there too, so they got an Arsenal person on there, and they even said
but Wright gave up giving a shit years ago. He's just there for the crack now.
What?
Righty's just there to be like having a laugh now.
Having a laugh in other terms. That's what Brian said.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta put a pause.
Brian, you got to talk off the center of the crack.
Yeah, no, everyone knows what I mean, man.
Yeah, but remember, 12 is a different. Exactly 12 for 12, Brian. It's a different context. But we know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Different word. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Sure, like what's a war and everybody knows about Ireland. Go to Ireland and have the crack, you know?
Yeah.
Great crack in Ireland. Great crack in Dublin. You know?
Okay.
It means fun, you know? It means fun. Crack means fun.
I'm going to place pauses behind those for those that are on that side of the pond.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, suppose for your American viewers, but for your
American viewers, that is not what you think it is.
Yeah, lots of crack, you know?
Stop saying it. Oh my goodness. So yeah. I don't know. It's just a conversation I thought you could have. And it's just interesting that, they were saying he's hands down the choice. And I thought that's very interesting. That they made it where it was like not even a conversation, because they did have a conversation when it came to, I think it was Rooney, and some said Rooney and some said
someone said earlier on that Rooney was on their panel. Someone said the overlap. Yeah, Bernie said the overlap had Neville, Keane, and Rooney or Scholes on the committee.
For that,
what's the crack there? You know, yeah, what's the crack
I know,
there?
and I don't know why. Yeah, so but basically they join sometimes on the show. So if Carragher's away or Neville's away,
but it wasn't.
They'll join.
It was
the main ones.
The one that they had voting for this. What I'm talking about was I'm just doing
Neville.
There's Neville, Jamie.
Yep.
Keane. I don't know the female's name on the show.
Jill
Scott. Jill Scott. Okay. She's from Newcastle, but she played for Man City. Yeah, see, I told you. But I think she did a stint for us too, Bernie is saying. So she may have played for Liverpool women's and City women's, but she's from Newcastle. Okay. Yeah, I can hear her now. She does have a proper Newcastle accent.
Yeah. And then obviously Wright. Yeah. And then Wright was on there too. So I mean, this one was kind of a relatively diverse grouping of people that were trying to give their ranking or their ratings, and Jamie said KDB too without hesitation. So that's why I thought that was interesting. Like if there was anyone that would have made the considering that they hold no qualms about showing sometimes their biases. I thought maybe Jamie would may try to be different and at least say Salah instead of KDB. But he didn't. So this is interesting. But all the same. We went a little bit, like 48 minutes over, but big up to those that are still with us. Big up Jean Grey. Big up to Max. Big up to Dustin. Big up to Bernie, of course, as well. What Who else is still in the house? Hello, Luca. Luca just joined us. I don't know if he's. Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. And who else? And Cedric just left. So, yeah. So big up to everyone that is still with us. Before we get on to the very, very end of the show, Brian, did you want to say anything to the people before we let them go? Oh, I see your mic's on, but all right.
Sorry.
All right. No worries.
No, not you. I'm not going to give you belly rubs.
Oh no, I didn't say it like that. I didn't hear you say that, but okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
no, I was just saying that if you were going to say
up to say her last, say Coco's last.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, look, to be honest, if you said to me in that period, who's the best central midfielder? Kevin De Bruyne. Who's the best attacking player, right-sided, right winger? Clearly, Salah. So yeah, I might go back and have a look at that one. But yeah, in terms of parting words, no, the usual, just thank you for everybody that has been in here. Thanks for being here, and see you again tomorrow. But make sure to tune in if you are around to my channel tomorrow. I think it's 4:30. It's set for, and I'll be talking about the topic of multi-club fanboys, as I call them, and whether it is possible to really be able to. Can you actually support two clubs, or if you support more than one club, do you not kind of actually really not support anybody? So is it possible to be a real fan if you support more than one club? That's the topic I want to talk about tomorrow. I've called them multi-club fanboys, but that's the idea. That's the issue. So if anybody wants to join in, come in and have your say on whether, do you only support one team? Do you have two teams? Do you think you can be a genuine fan if you say that you have more than one team? Where does the cookie crumble on that one? So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Hopefully, Atlanta will be there. JK, yourself, maybe if you get. I know it's very early, but hopefully Lee will be there. But anybody tonight. So have a think about that. If you want to talk about it, we'll be talking about it tomorrow. I think it's shocking, by the way. It's not. You can't be doing that. As far spoiler alert. No is my answer. You can only support one team, but yeah, it's a modern phenomenon, and I want to talk about it.
Okay. And Nolante, how about for you?
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. Another show. And then blessings to you all. And again, I'll just reiterate two main components for tonight. The most of the host, 12th man, the man from Arizona, catch you if you can with a flying pan. And that's 12th, the can man. Doing his thing over in the good old USA. And you got Brian, the Irish bed, who 12 just learned. It's all about the crack. It's all about the crack. But just not that kind of crack for 12. Pause. And yeah, as Brian said, please check out the show tomorrow. Brian will update you, notification bells on and all that. Like and subscribe. All right. So I'll just end it for this, ladies and gentlemen. The victor, the spoils. Liverpool go marching on. Liverpool dominate international football tonight. Robbo, Doak, Bradley too. Who's top of the league? We are, and none of you. And on that note, I'll end it with, please, everyone, be safe, take care of your loved ones, and appreciate each and every other. And please do give a call to someone that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while. Just check in. It's always good to check in.
Yeah, people. Nice show.
It's always good to check in, regardless if you haven't heard from them, but just check in because life is precious and life is very short. And on that note, I will say 3 famous words: arrivederci, sayonara, au revoir, you never walk alone, and it's a good night for me. Good night.
There you go.
Lazy gravy.
There you go. It's all about the lazy gravy. All right, people. Been always a pleasure. Definitely do what definitely follow up with what Monte says. That is a great shout. And also please do us the pleasure of joining us tomorrow, and also joining Brian on his broadcast earlier in the day. And as always, people, most of all, please understand, it's all about up the Reds, as always. Up the Reds, up the Reds. So take care, and we will see you tomorrow.